You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on your teammates, but it's also about being there to pick you up when you're down. Have you ever played Destiny with a fellow Guardian and wondered, what are you all about? Or how did you find Destiny? Questions like these spark conversation, friendship, and community. We are a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: a positive gaming community, news around video games and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in-game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your Destiny.
Hey, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 243 of Guardian Downcast, a Destiny 2 podcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day 1 Guardian who's been gaming all my life and has thousands of hours in the Destiny franchise alone, and we talk about it. Well, today I'm doing something that I've never done before in any of the past Guardian Downcast episodes. The first thing I'm going to do is catch up with not one, but two prior guests of the show. I'll give you a hint. Both guests were on prior episodes over 2 years ago. Next, I'm going to go over the very intriguing This Week in Destiny blog post from the Destiny 2 community team, and I have a hot take, which, as you know, I tend to have on occasion. And no, this hot take I have not heard from anyone else as I've been scouring YouTube to see what others have been saying about it. So let me know what you think in the show feedback channel of our Discord community after the show. But I can hear you now saying, Gator, you've done those things before in prior shows, so what? That brings me to the final segment of today's show. Some of you may know is that I put out an announcement to our Discord community this week and asked them if there were any questions that you wanted to ask me. But maybe, because of guest appearances, speed runs, or other time constraints that maybe just got pushed aside. Nothing was off the table. Whatever questions you had, I would promise to answer honestly and not avoid. So I had some great responses from our community, and there are some things, personal things, that I've never disclosed before, and I'm not going to edit them out. So we'll see how it ends up. It's the Todd the Gator Ask Me Anything show. So let's roll. Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian_D_cast. Or you can find us on our Instagram channel at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels that I and our podcast guests want to share with you guys. You can send us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Guardian Downcast, email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. But if you just want to do it all in one spot, check out our new website. Just visit guardiandowncast.com. You can find all our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give us our show rating and review, search for any past episodes, or even get back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some Guardian Downcast merch. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out. And later, Guardian. Well, I happened to bump into a past guest of the show earlier this week, and we sat down and talked briefly. He was on episode 111 from September 6th of 2021, if you'd like to hear the original interview we had with him on Guardian Downcast. But we talked for a bit while hanging out in orbit in Destiny 2. It's the Guardian photographer. Yeah, so it's been a while, man. So we got a lot to talk about, man. First, how you been? Let's start there. How's life treating you, man?
Life's good. No crazy changes or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many Guardians have you photographed now? Have you ever, taken count?
I haven't taken count. I'd say it's somewhere between 30 and 40.
Okay.
I stopped doing it for about a year. People just kind of lost interest.
Oh.
So what I've been doing now more so is every 3 months, the month following an event.
Right.
Right now we're in Guardian games.
Right.
During the month of that event, I reach out to people and be like, hey, would you like to shoot this kind of thing, like have a theme for it too based
Right.
around the event. So like this one's theme is competition,
Okay.
being that it's Guardian games. So like for the dawning, I had like Winter Wonderland, and I think it was just spooky season for Festival of the Lost. That was a ton of fun.
I love Guardian games. In fact, I just got Reveler today. I just got my final 4th seasonal event done. And
Sweet.
yeah, it looks really good. I mean, it's one of the ones I've always wanted to get. So let me ask you this. So what do you think, Guardian games is a little different this year, but I like the aesthetics. I mean, I've seen so many videos of people grinding these new vehicles like crazy.
It's so much fun.
It looks fun. That's for sure.
It's a ton of fun, especially like a Prophecy got its loot refresh. So I've been doing a ton of runs of that.
Uh-huh.
So that like Ribbon Road, some people call it Rainbow Road,
Right.
is like a cinch now. Because if you fall off, you just catch yourself with a grind, kind of pick back up on a lower thing, or you can just straight up go towards the end.
Destiny has had its ups and downs, that's for sure, man. Because
Yes.
what do you think of all this? All these changes we've had in Destiny. Oh, I mean, you've been playing since day one, right? Are you a day one player?
Yes, I've been playing since day one. I played during D1, like from alpha through the first DLC, which was House of Wolves.
Yeah, I was beta.
Stopped there.
Uh-huh.
Picked back up a little bit after Rise of Iron, and then I've been playing since.
Now, are you playing mainly PvP or are you a PvE player?
Mostly PvE. I don't touch PvP too much. I've gone flawless a few times and like have fun in Iron Banner when it's around, but I'm not a PvP main kind of guy. More so just like the PvE endgame stuff, like raids and dungeons and GMs, that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. I just put this new, what do they call it? Words are hard tonight. The new Memento looks really good, man.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'll put it on my, I'll equip my, my scatter signal because I put it on my scatter signal.
Ooh, that's cool.
It looks really nice, man. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And,
I found that it looks really good on Season of the Witch and Season of the Wish weapons.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I mean, I got I did the Dawning Memento. I did the mission one time and I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. This isn't a memento. This is a shader. There's hardly, I couldn't even see any movement in it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain this event that you do?
So what I do, it's called Community Member Mondays, where I take photos of fellow Destiny community members and post them on my socials, Twitter and Instagram. It would happen every Monday following whatever event would be going on. So, for example, like Festival of the Lost, we did those shoots, and then in November, I posted those guys. I believe it was November. That might have actually happened in October. But I know for the Dawning, that happened during December. I posted those in January. We're having Guardian games in March right now, so those ones will go up in April. That kind of thing. So it kind of like flows with whatever event just happened.
I like it. Well, how long have you been doing this, by the way?
That's a very good question.
We interviewed you back when it was Hazel and I. We interviewed you back in September of 2021. And I actually, you know how I found you? I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw Guardian Photographer and I saw all these awesome photos. And I was like, I got to know more about this guy. This is a really cool idea. No one's done this before, you know? Taking pictures of other Guardians and posting them on the social feeds. Is that when you started it up around 2021 or was it earlier?
It might be somewhere around there, like either 2021 or 2022 for posting photos of other Guardians themselves.
Okay.
But I know a lot of other people like on Instagram who do the same thing as well. I don't see too much of it on Twitter. I feel like it's more of an Instagram thing for virtual photography itself in Destiny. I've seen a few people here and there on Twitter, but it's definitely a lot larger there.
Right. Yeah, I'm just we're just trying to, we haven't even really been focusing on our Instagram, but we're starting to put some reels out now and starting to grow our channel there as well. And, that's a cool place. It's a cool place.
Yeah.
Well, where do you hail from? What state?
I'm from California.
Okay, you're on California time. Got it.
Yeah. SoCal.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a manager at a restaurant.
Sweet. Oh man, my daughter was working that life, and that's a hectic job, man. I don't know how you guys can do it. It's tough.
Very hectic.
So many personalities you have to juggle, you know? Different people you have to try to schedule the way they want it, and, you know, all that stuff. But I'll just go down the road here. I know we asked you these questions in 2021, but just kind of a refresher for people who may not know you. Sure. What was your earliest video game moment? When did you first start playing video games, man?
I started playing video games, I want to say probably like 1999. I was born in 95. Okay. So, all right. It would be either like 99 or 2000.
Wow.
Okay. We had a PlayStation, like a PS1, that I didn't really play too much because, I mean, I was probably like 4, so I didn't really understand it. But like when I really started like to play games and stuff like that was when I got my Game Boy Color. Okay. That's when it all went downhill from there.
So you're a Pokemon guy then?
I am a Pokemon guy.
I got you. See, I missed that. I missed the boat on that.
My GBA came with Pokemon Crystal, and I was a happy camper.
I bet you were. Yeah. How did you stumble into this game we love called Destiny, man?
I stumbled into it. I think it was just like the makers of Halo are making this thing that's actually going to be on PlayStation, the console that I own. And I was like, ooh, I'll give it a try. So I signed up, was in the alpha, the beta, all that stuff. I got the special collection that came out with the one that had the Dinklebot and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What is your, do you have a favorite memory from when you played back there? Or even today, is there a favorite memory that comes to mind?
I can't think of one in particular, but I do really like the satisfaction from finishing like end game content, like master raids, master dungeons, GMs, that kind of stuff. Like some of those like big gnarly ones, like whenever they first come out that like no one has a real set strategy for, are like really fun. Like for example, like Lightblade. That GM, when it first came around, was a nightmare. No one knew what they were doing. Now there's obviously strats where like one person kind of baits the boss around the room and stuff like that. Like jumping from platform to platform. But like when that first came out, chaos. Absolute chaos. And like, I remember being so satisfied finishing that the first time.
Yeah, we do a lot of raids. We call it chaos mode, like Deepstone Crypt or something. And usually a third encounter, we just call it chaos mode. People just grab whatever they're grabbing. You know, they just call it out and grab it and run, you know, as we're falling to earth, you know, or falling to wherever. What's your activity of choice? It sounds like it's strikes and grandmasters.
GMs are a ton of fun. Raids, dungeons. I mean, they just redid the Prophecy loot pool, so I've been running that a bunch this week. I did my Grandmasters, I want to say like a month ago or something like that. Okay. Did like 2 one day for the other day. We were done like in a weekend.
You got your gilded title?
Yeah, I got my gilded 11 title.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice.
I'm also gilded in Gambit too with 11.
Gambit? Really? We had a guest on last week. We talked about Gambit. Very nice, man. Very nice. Yeah.
Not a lot of people like it, but I do enjoy it. I think that it's a fun, competitive race to the finish. Like, I'm not much of an invader, but I do really enjoy the rush that like comes from trying to get your motes before the other team and banking before them so you can block them and like sending someone over to knock them out.
Being efficient. The most efficient team wins, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I like it. If you were to model yourself after an NPC in the game, who would you think you would be closest to as one of the NPCs in the game, or character? It doesn't have to be a vendor by chance. It could be anybody in the game.
Well, the question I've never considered. I feel like Zavala would be a solid choice.
Okay.
To compare myself to.
So I'm guessing you're a Titan main?
I am a Titan main.
Yeah, I saw your armor in there. Okay.
Leadership kind of deal, like the front lines, wall kind of deal. I'm into that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of your job, right? You have to lead that whole restaurant. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's, like I said, man, I don't envy your job. It's a tough job. What is it about Titan you love so much? What made you choose that class over your other two? I mean, I play all three, but I'm sure you might too. But
I play all three, but I definitely do main the Titan.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I mean, I've always just been a fan of like kind of like the support role almost of like defending and like not being the one to lead the charge, but to brace for impact, I guess you could say.
Okay. Especially with like the bubble and Zavala in the beginning of Destiny 2, which people can't play anymore. I won't go into that, but I got one for you here. Name one weapon in your vault right now that you refuse to delete, and why?
My gnawing hunger.
Okay, good choice. Good choice. What's your role on it? What's your role on it? Subsistence
swashbuckler.
Oh.
I love punching stuff.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense with the Titan. That's actually, I never thought of that role, but I'm a warlock man, so.
I know a lot of people like the subsistence rampage. Subsistence wash is where it's at. Because you can just punch once and then you're already up there.
Yep. See,
I'm already punching.
I like subsistence demolition because I'm always throwing grenades. Throwing grenades. It procs my devour. So that's the way I run about it. So if Bungie assigned you a small but versatile little dev team that you're in charge, what would you work on in the future for Destiny 2?
A photo mode. I feel like that's an easy
theater, right? A theater mode or
a theater, photo mode, whatever you want to call it. Something that gives me free reign on camera.
Right.
And I can just go wherever I please, take some shots, shoot some video, do whatever I'd like to do, maybe change some lighting a little bit, tilt the camera, like adjust the focus, depth of field, all that jazz.
Gotcha.
I would love a theater or photo mode.
See, I would want a theater mode for a different reason, but just because if I want to be able to play my Guardian back in a game I got stomped and just go back and play as the other player on the team and find out how was he playing? You know, he did that in Black Ops. They did that, man. That theater mode I used that theater mode to death. I loved it. Not to mention you can make all kinds of cool videos too, but, yeah, I agree, man. We definitely need that in the game. Do you have any other hobbies other than gaming? Well, I think I know one of them.
Do you?
Photography, right? You're the Guardian photographer.
I am? Yeah, I am.
Yes.
Virtual photography is a passion of mine. It comes and goes. It's weird. So, like, I'll get in a mode where I'm like, all right, photo mode. And, like, I'll run for, like, a straight month of just taking shots, doing things, this and that. And then I'll take, like, a month off and not, like, shoot a single thing.
I hear you. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't want to burn out if it's your hobby.
Exactly.
You don't want it to become a job.
I think that's part of it. Just that, like, I get a little burnt out. I'm like, okay, I've shot a ton of stuff. I'm at, like, 150 photos in the past, like, month. Like, that's plenty of content to post for a little while. Like, give myself a break, enjoy the game, play something else too, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Do you live by a motto or mantra?
Not necessarily.
Okay. I'm a golden rule kind of guy, but I hear you.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Not everybody has one, so don't feel bad there.
Yeah.
Finally, one more question. What's one thing about you that our community, our Destiny community, might not know about you? I know it's a loaded question. It could be even just a quirk or something small. It doesn't have to be something you're sharing your life about something. It could be anything you want, man.
I enjoy building Lego.
Okay. Lego fan. I like it.
Fun. Yeah.
Lego Flash will be glad to hear that. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, you do bounties, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I was going to be upset. No, I wasn't really. Well, thank you, Guardian Photographer. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your life with us tonight, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again to the Guardian Photographer for stopping by and talking with me for a little bit. I'll put all of his socials, his Instagram following, and also his X socials in our show notes down below if you want to check him out. Really nice guy. Thanks again. Well, that means it's time for This Week in Destiny. Hey, just a quick reminder that we have several Destiny 2 clans and we invite all of you to be a part of it. If you're looking for a home to share your Destiny experiences, Now would be a great time to jump in and get to know some of these great gamers. We're here for the community and friends you make along the way, and no hardcore restrictions. And enjoy what time you have for Destiny is all we ask. So if you're looking for a clan out there, join our Discord. That's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast, and just reach out to a mod and we'll open the door for you. So join us, and later, Guardian. Before we get into the TWAB this week, just wanted to let you guys know what I've been doing this past week. I tried out a bunch of new things with the new Guardian games that's been going on this week. I did try the Trials Passage of Persistence card. I wanted to do an experiment. I spent the exact amount of time that I normally do to get my 7 wins flawed, just playing solo, just, to get Ingrams and, cash in the stuff from the vendor, St. 14 at the tower. So I played for about 2 hours on the weekend, and I played for another 2 hours, 1.5 hours maybe, on Monday night before reset. And a couple things I noticed. If you don't know what the Trials Passage of Persistence is that the way the Passage of Persistence works is you get your first win on your Persistence card, and if you lose a game before you get your first win, there's some kind of glitch in the matrix where you need to reset your card so it doesn't become flawed. But after you get that first win, every win after that adds to your card, of course, like it normally does. But every loss takes away the last win. So if you think of it this way, the goal is to stack 2 wins in a row. So 2 wins in a row, 2 wins in a row, 2 wins in a row, 2 wins in a row. You get those 7 wins eventually, and it doesn't matter how many times you lose. The key is to stack 2 wins in a row. That way you're gaining 1 toward your 7 wins every time, even if you lose. And you can only lose it 1 time. So say I get 2 wins, then I lose my next game. It takes that win off, so now I have 1 win on the card, but the card is not flawed. Now, I can't go to the lighthouse because I've lost. But if I continue to win 2 games, in other words, I go on a 2-win game streak, the worst case scenario is what happened to me this week is I got 4 wins in a row, flawless. I went to my 5th game and lost. So now I'm at 3 wins. I played a couple more games. I think I lost a close game there, but I still had my 3 wins intact on the card. It only took my 4th loss off. So once I got another win, I went to 4 wins. And then if I got a 5th win without losing a game, then I was locked into 4 wins. I know it sounds confusing, but it's pretty hard. It's actually pretty easy to understand once you get into it and try it. But what this does basically is it allows you to basically be persistent, just like the card says. If you're playing like the weekend of Trials, and you have some really good luck, you get some good players on your team, you guys are working together, you're winning back-to-back games. If you can stack those up, eventually you get to 7 wins. And granted, even though you can't go to the lighthouse, you can get that week's adept weapon. But what problem I was having with the Passage of Persistence is I kept getting to that 5th win, and then I just hit a wall. It didn't matter that I was playing solo. It just seemed like after that 5th win, I was up against much higher level players than me. And I just couldn't get past that point. I think if I would have spent maybe a couple more hours in addition to what I did play, I think I played about 3.5 hours this weekend and on Monday total. I think if I would have put a little more time into it, I would have eventually gotten my 7 wins. But I fell short. I got to my 5th win and I just ran out of time. So one thing I did notice, though, is if you lost your 5th win and went back to 4 wins, when you gained your 5th win again, you would get another weapon drop or armor drop. So keep that in mind as well, that it fakes the system out that you got your 5th win, and it gives you another weapon. So that was a highlight. But I did not get my adept weapon this last week, but I just want to let you know I did that little experiment this last weekend, and that's how it turned out. So keep that in mind if you want to try the Passage of Persistence in the future. I did do the Guardian games last week as well. Watched Grenader Jake on Saturday for a couple hours to get my diamond medallion. One thing I did want to mention is sometimes it's bugged where you'll get your 2 hours in and you've already linked your account, but you go back to Eva, Grandma, at the tower, and it's still grayed out. All you have to do is just reset your game, because this happened to me. Reset your game and go back to Eva once you select your character that you link to it, and it should be unlocked for you, which it was for me. So I plan on doing that again this weekend. I'm recording on a Friday. Did play the Prophecy Dungeon with my buddies Kingsley Mack and Sin Media, and we played the all Warlock classes to get the Diamond Medallion for that as well. I always have a great time gaming with those guys. I did use my skimmer, and I was able to skim all the way past the Ribbon Road, all the way down to the bottom without fail. And all you had to do is, when you saw your charge meter eventually go out, you would basically jump off of your your skimmer, and immediately just activate it again, and then start use your crouch button on your controller, and you'll start sliding down on air. It's the coolest thing, man. I love this thing. When it comes to getting my permanent skimmer, I'm going the long route, because I tried soloing some of the Nightfalls in the competitive playlist, and for a solo player, I came really close, but then I kept getting killed at the very end, and that time just killed me. You got about a good 20 minutes to get through these competitive Nightfalls, so keep that in mind. It's 1770 power, so you should be high enough power to handle everything in there, but the main problem I had was I just ran out of time. And I tend to move a little slower and more measured through the Nightfalls if I'm doing them solo, so I think that just eventually caught up to me. And then once I died at the end, I just finally said, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to just do it the long way. And there's a lot of videos out there that show you how to do it with certain builds, and it's definitely possible. I just was out of time. But you can solo it if you get your builds correct and you're really boogieing through those encounters. I did play Supremacy. I've tried out a lot of different weapons in Trials, in Supremacy, and here's what I really found out. I used two exotic scout rifles, the Mida Multi-Tool, which is a 200 RPM scout rifle. It got a little bit of a buff, and I was having pretty good success with it. Mida Multi-Tool is one of my favorite weapons, but the time to kill is just so brutal on it that even if you're hitting headshots and stuff, usually you can get outplayed and outshot with better weapons. It was a little bit easier this time. I tried it in Trials. I tried it in Supremacy. Had definitely more luck in 6s than in Trials with it. But I tell you what was working fantastic is Jade Rabbit. My God, that thing, you could 3-tap someone, even 2-tap in a certain situation very easily in Trials. And a lot of people used it in Trials this past weekend. I don't know what they're going to be using this weekend. It's this weekend is the auto rifle, the Summoner Adept. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it or not. I'm going to look and see. I've got some raids I've got to do this weekend. So Jade Rabbit, if you don't have the catalyst, get it done, because that rifle is owning people. You can't play aggressive with it. It's a slow firing, high impact scout rifle. So you have to play back. You have to play back on this. And the other thing I did find out, the Amit is still working really good. I got the enhanced gut shot straight build, and it's still working very well. I did finally get my first drop when I played the Prophecy Dungeon with Sin and Kingsley this weekend. I got a Prosecutor with Target Lock and Zen Moment. So Gator's a happy boy right now. I'll be definitely trying this in Trials. I was owned a lot by Prosecutors this past weekend playing Trials. So, yeah, definitely try to farm for that weapon. It is very good. But the Amit still is doing very well. I used it a lot in Trials. It was working very well. Weapons I had really a hard time countering was the Igneous Adept hand cannon. It was the high impact hand cannons are really working well right now. The Jade Rabbit, like I mentioned, and that damn Prosecutor auto rifle and sidearms. If you go up against someone who knows how to use a sidearm correctly and can hit headshots, it's going to be a long day. The Sturm especially. I had one guy just kept owning me with that damn Sturm. But I used the Buzzard Adept and the Heliocentric sidearms, and you should always play with a sidearm if you know me. So, yeah. All right, on with the TWAB.
Hey, y'all, this is Sin from the Guardian Hub Podcast, the best hub on the net. And you're listening to the Guardian Downcast, the best cast on the net.
Yeah, I'll Venmo you that later. Okay, this week in Destiny, this is for March 14th, 2024. This week in Destiny, we start preparing for the next battle. We have a bunch of very exciting news to share with you, all regarding Destiny 2 Into the Light. Finally, we get to hear something about this. It's going to be a 2-month content update coming to all players in April, including free-to-play. And this is what they're going to be talking about today. Destiny 2 Into the Light begins on April 9th. We're going to show you all about it in 3 live streams. They talk about further weapon enhancing, in other words, enhanced perks on some future weapons. They talk about the Guardian game's progress. Then they got some great wallpapers in here to look at for your phone, for your social media banners, and for your desktop, all high def. So check that out while we're talking about it here. Fireteam Finder is now on your phone. They've integrated into the phone app, and I use the phone app for getting my bounties and stuff. So it's now you can actually schedule an activity, but just know it doesn't go active or post anywhere until you make it active the day that you plan on doing it, which kind of defeats the purpose to me, but you can schedule it still. But I still believe our 100.io bot does a great job in our Discord. So if you're new to our Discord, check out the 100.io channel and sign up with the 100.io, and you can schedule stuff. It just has so much flexibility, in my opinion, over the Fireteam Finder app. So, all right. They talk about the Into the Light. Starts on April 9th, which before you know it'll be here, believe me. They say today we are ready to share when our next big content update is coming. Destiny 2 Into the Light will launch on April 9th, along with another update, 7.3.6, which also includes further tuning to the sandbox and quality of life updates. They said Destiny 2 Into the Light will deliver new game content available to all players throughout the months of April and May in preparation for the launch of the final shape in June. And what types of content, you might ask? Well, they're going to get into that very soon with 3 live streams. They're going to have 3 different live streams, which seems excessive, doesn't it? I mean, if we watch a live stream with a Vidoc in it, which, don't get me wrong, I adore Vidocs from Bungie. They are so good at doing them. But they said, as of Tuesday, reset this next week coming up, which will be March 19th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. They're going to have the first live stream where they're going to start discussing what's going on. It's called the Developer Live Stream. And this will be from the developers exactly. And the next 2 will be on the following weeks, March 26th and April 2nd, which sounds like it's both of those are on Tuesdays, I'm guessing, but it sounds like they're both on reset days at 10 a.m. Pacific. So they're going to have it on Twitch. So they didn't say anything about YouTube. Maybe they'll replay it on YouTube, but if you want to watch it live, you got to go to Twitch. So mark your calendars for that. As you're watching these live streams, they have 2 new emblems that you can get. There's one emblem called Those Held Dear. If you watch 30 minutes across all 3 of the live streams, so any of those 3 live streams, as long as you watch 30 minutes, you'll get the reward where they'll give you the code and you can get this new emblem, which kind of looks nice, very colorful. But here's what's intriguing. If you watch 2 hours total of those 3 live streams, which tells me that it's going to be I'm guessing it sounds like it's going to be at least an hour. Each live stream, it looks like it's going to be at least an hour because they're talking 2 hours total. So it's not going to be like a 10-minute live stream and say, okay, we're out. At least 2 hours, which I'm guessing it's probably going to be 3 hours total. You're going to get another emblem called Echo Diamond. And man, has it got a lot of red in it. As always, they say to be sure to follow, to link your Twitch profile to your Bungie ID. A lot of people have not been doing that. Got to do that if you're going to get your diamond medallion to post to get your skimmer, your exotic skimmer. They're going to be adding as of the final shape, I can't talk. Now, one thing they're going to be doing when the final shape releases on June 4th is they're going to make it where you can have enhanced traits on certain weapons. Now, I say certain weapons. Does this mean they're going to be craftable? I don't think so. I think something is going to be applied to them, or where you can get some kind of enhanced perk on these weapons. They're very vague about it. They say while we aren't ready to fully talk about the entire weapon landscape of the final shape, the new and reprised weapons you collect from the Prophecy Dungeon, the Guardian Games All-Stars, which is going on right now. There's going to be one more week left by the time you hear this, as well as the new weapons in rotation for Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris, and the Nightfalls will all retroactively be enhanceable when the final shape releases on June 4th. I'm thinking there's going to be a currency to make them enhanced. You'll probably hover over a perk on the gun from your random drops, and you'll be able to enhance it with some kind of currency. You know, Bungie, they like their currencies, so I'm sure that's what they're going to probably do. But as of now, we don't know exactly how it's going to be applied. Trials of Osiris, it's going to be on the new Prophecy Scout Rifle, which I got one of those this last weekend. The Summoner Auto Rifle, I got 3 of those this last weekend. The Tusk of the Boar Grenade Launcher from Iron Banner, which that's a brand new weapon coming soon in Iron Banner in April. The Multi-Mach CCX submachine gun, which is coming back from a prior Iron Banner. On the Nightfalls, you have the Wild Style Grenade Launcher. I believe that's the new double loader that they just added. The Slammer Sword. The Guardian Games, the Taraxipus Scout Rifle, which I have some fantastic builds on. The Tidal Machine Gun, which destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace. Everyone's going for that one. If you have a really cool Void build you want to put together, you got to have that one. I do not have mine yet. I've got one of each, but I haven't gotten them together on one gun yet, so I'm still working on it. And of course, the new grenade launcher, the Hullabaloo, which I tried it out. It's okay. In the Prophecy Dungeon, it's going to be the Prosecutor Auto Rifle, which I got one this last week. The Adjudicator Submachine Gun, the Relentless Pulse Rifle, it's on my list. I want this Pulse Rifle. The Judgment Hand Cannon, which I got one of. The Darkest Before Pulse Rifle, and the Sudden Death Shotgun. All going to be enhanceable perks on these as of the final shape. So get to farming, guys. Let's get these weapons, man. If you want to, if you get a really good roll, like I'll tell you right now, if you get a target lock Prosecutor Auto Rifle, they did nerf them on the submachine guns, but they're still very powerful on auto rifles. So keep that in mind. The Relentless Pulse Rifle, got to get Headseeker on that one. Darkest Before, there's all kinds of rolls you can get for that one. That's going to be on my hit list as well. I'm not a shotgun guy, so I'll pass on that. If I get one, great. If not, no big deal. I'm not going to lose any sleep. Hunters, still dominating. Titans are coming, though. Titans are coming. So, that's what's going on that. The Guardian Games Cup shows all of the top 10 fundraisers. The G2G 2024 All-Stars raised the most in first place, 17,220, and then it scales down from there. They talk about the top 10 medals dunked. And then those wallpapers I talked about, they're all on Bungie.net. So go here. These are all high-def 4K banners. So, man, they're really nice. Only thing I hate is the Warlock's a female body type. I don't really like that. Nothing against you ladies. I want one that looks like me. Not like you guys. So, yeah, Titan one looks very good. Player support report. Hey, y'all, shit's broken. We got some good movies. We got a couple skimmer videos. Check those out. They're really good. And, yeah, we got some artwork here. It looks really nice. So thank you, Destiny 2 community team. But before we go, I wanted to take a look at this picture of the Into the Light. I just want to talk for a second about this. This looks very interesting. They shows each of the class of Guardians, a Hunter, the Titan, and the Warlock, all fighting. It looks to me like mobs of enemies coming at them. Could this finally be the Horde mode we've been really crying for? At least I have. This would be something that would definitely keep me busy for a couple months. But here's the thing, Bungie. If this is going to be a Horde mode, and have it like leveled, like in zombies. You want to get to level 100, you want to see how far you can go without dying, and keeping everybody alive in your team. I'm not even saying you need to have the gumball machines and all the extra perk stuff. Just have it where it's leveled and people can compete on all the levels they can go on it. If it is in fact a horde mode, which it very much looks like it. And it looks to me like it's at the old tower. No one can verify that as well, but it looks like the existing tower that we played on in Destiny 1. I don't know for sure. It just looks eerily the same from this picture I'm looking at. Obviously, this is pure speculation. We don't know exactly what it is, but here's my hot take. They mentioned they're going to have 3 separate streams, right? 3 separate streams to explain what this new Into the Light's going to be about. Now, this is a shot in the dark, but it kind of makes sense to me a little bit. If you remember back about, 6-8 months ago, there was a leaked image of a red subclass that a tester leaked out or accidentally was on a server and someone found it and saw a red subclass. If you look at this picture, what color is coming out of these turrets on this horde mode? It's a red beam of light. It could be Siva. I mean, that's what people have said in the past, that it could be a Siva subclass coming. But if you notice, we have 3 light subclasses and we only have 2 dark subclasses. What if we finally get our 3rd darkness subclass? Maybe this was something that was going to fall in the final shape. And maybe they just said, hell with it. Let's just release it. Let's people go ahead and get fired up and get built up for the final shape, the final push. I don't know, but if you look at these emblems that they're giving away for free by watching their streams, one is not stasis, that fucking ice show. No, it's very much like, it's got the green. It's got the green like the current subclass we're using right now. But if you look at the one below it, it's just like the reddest red, like blood red. And that got my wheels spinning. You guys picking up what I'm putting down here? 3 separate streams, 3 separate subclasses, right? Maybe the first stream they show you the Titan red stace. I don't know. Let's just call it red subclass for the Titan. Hey, tune in next week. We're going to show you what the Warlock red subclass can do. And then finally, on the last stream, we're going to show you what the Hunter's new red subclass can do. We'll call it Siva. Why not? Let's call it Siva. What do you guys think? All right. I know. I can really go out there sometimes. And I know my predictions in the past have been really wild, but I don't know, man. I just get some vibes when they talked about 3 separate streams. I mean, for a 2-month activity, which let's face it, it's brand new content, but do they really need 3 streams to talk about this? And the turrets you see in this picture, what if that is your ability subclass where you can throw down a couple turrets and there's a cooldown and they're shooting red? I don't know. I'm just saying. I know there's been some other games I've played that throw down turrets as one of their abilities or perks or whatever of the character. I'm just saying. It looks eerily familiar. And yes, I know there's a Vanguard symbol on these turrets, but that just means maybe that turret has a Vanguard, maybe has a Vanguard ornament on it. You can speculate anything. But what if one of the subclasses can throw turrets? All right. I've said my piece. You guys let me know. The show feedback channel in our Discord, that's Guardian Downcast, discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Join the Discord, say hi to everybody, and don't get overwhelmed, by the way. We're a very, we're a very social community. We're a very social community. And when you join in and say hi, or the bot says, hey, so-and-so has joined the server, please don't get overwhelmed if people start saying hi. I know there's some Discords you go into out there that no one even says hi or anything to you. I know it's a little uneasy for some people, especially if you have, if you're a little shy or maybe you have some anxiety issues. Please don't feel that way. We do this to everybody who joins our Discord. So if you join our Discord and you're flooded with a bunch of hellos and welcomes, and I will throw them out as well. Yeah, we're just being friendly. We're just a friendly community. And, yeah, don't be intimidated by that or don't be turned off by that because, we love everyone in our community and we try to create as a positive a community as we can. So, yeah, just want to mention that because I've seen people join and just bolt because they're like, whoa, this is way too much attention. It's not our intent at all. You can hang and, just hang out and just watch everyone that communicates in the Discord if you like. You don't have to participate, but, just don't get overwhelmed when you first join our Discord and you get a bunch of hellos all at once because, that's our tradition. That's something we've always done with every member that's joined our Discord. And if I've forgotten to say welcome to any of you that have joined over the past week or two, I apologize. I try to keep up with all the new members that come in our Discord, and I try to personally welcome each and every one of you guys. So just want to throw that out there. All right. So let me know in the show feedback. Am I off my rocker? Am I sucking on too much copium? I'm always going to be very optimistic when it comes to Bungie and Destiny. So you know me. So let me know. Hey, before we get to our last segment of the show, I had a few Destiny questions that people sent in this week, and I wanted to make sure I got them answered for you. The first is from Mr. Dead Rabbit. He says, people keep saying the image looks like a Horde mode. It gives me Black Armory Forge vibes. What do you think the chances it's an assault on the city from Xivu in the style of the Forges? I did see in the title, Mr. Dead Rabbit, that it had the squiggly line kind of vibe on the title screen that reminded me of one of the Black Armory Forge shaders. So maybe that's what it is. I don't think Xivu's going to be involved though. I think Xivu's going to be into, a later episode, in my opinion. I think Bungie is setting aside Xivu for a future showdown of some sort. I'm not positive, but hey, it's possible. It's possible it can be that. But, I would love to see the Forge weapons come back. Of all the seasons in Destiny, Season of the Forge was by far my favorite seasonal weapons of all of Destiny 2. So, hey man, I'm all for the Forged weapons coming back, especially my Blast Furnace. I still have 2 of them with over 100,000 kills between the 2 of them. So, fingers are crossed, buddy. I also had a question from Warlocks Unite, aka Nico, aka Jersey. Question for the show. Hypothetically, D3 was just announced. What from D2 do you want incorporated? And what's one new thing that you would want to add to it? Well, I've already mentioned in the past that they need to extend the season pass bars. I'm a grinder, man. I do my bounties every day. I'm always grinding my bounties. Even when I go past 100, I'm grinding to get those Ingrams, right? The Eververse Ingrams, even though 9 times out of 10, it's a Sparrow, a Ghost Projection, or a Ghost, a legendary one that I don't need and immediately dismantle. But, yeah, that's one thing I would hope that they're going to do. And they've already alluded to it a little bit, Nico, in the episodes coming up, that they're going to expand the season pass. Like from act to act. They're going to have 3 acts in even each season. So I think they're going to be bringing that back anyway. As far as something they want to keep going into Destiny 2, I really, really hope that they open up weapon crafting for all weapons going into the new Destiny. That just makes sense. People want to grind for the weapons that they want to use. They want to have their individual identity in whatever weapon or style of play they do, whether it's in Crucible or wherever. I don't know about you, but I've heard horror stories about people trying to get RNG drops for that perfect god roll. I've had people run, Lost Sectors 50 times and never got the roll they needed. I think those days are over. When Destiny 2 and even Destiny was a new game, people really didn't mind grinding crazy to get these random RNG drops. But I think those days are gone. I think it's time to have more deterministic loot, and I really, really hope they bring that back to Destiny 3 if there is such a Destiny 3 does come. So thanks, Nico. And I had one more question from Ronan Red Lion. What do you think Xivu Arath is up to? Please answer before continuing. I mean, I'm not a lore guy, but I would speculate that she's probably reinforcing. She's probably, I would say she's probably in the background, building her forces up, getting ready for a big fight, a big battle. We took out both her sister and her brother. You know, they're gone now. So, I mean, Savathun's pretty much gone. We're going to deal with her probably in the third episode, but I think for the most part, Savathun is going to be a dead ringer. But, yeah, I think in the background, Xivu Arath is probably building up her forces for the next episode, right? And he has this blacked out, so I can't cheat. Follow-up question. What do you think Xivu A. Riddle has been up to? What do you think Xivu A. Riddle has been up to? Oh my god, dude. Really? A riddle? Category is people. My champion, the Eradicator, the ancient serpent, interrogator of lightbearers, at the approach of his vessel's golden prow, the plundered house of flames rushes to prepare his tribute, falls silent as he casts his judgment upon the argent veil. Your song shall join his in eternity. He's got the answer blacked out. So, what person are we talking about here? I'm going to say Callus. You said his vessel's golden prow. That kind of tipped me off that it might be Callus we're talking about here. I'm unblocking the answer. Your host, the Gator. Oh, you got me, man. You got me, Ronan. Oh my God. Thanks for sending it in, Ronan. I appreciate it. Hey, thanks for sending questions in, everybody. Now we're going to move on to the final segment of the show. Like I said, it's something I've never done before, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey, Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There's several easy ways to do it. First, join our Discord server. That's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below if you just want to click and join. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. Hey, so come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we occasionally post something in an upcoming show or guest on our X handle at Guardian_D_cast. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the show. Think of it as talking with us right on the podcast. Hey, I love voicemails, so let's hear them. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. That brings me to our final segment of the show tonight. I mentioned earlier in the show that I would be answering your questions about anything. So I was thinking, and I decided this would be a good time to catch up with another prior guest of the show. He was on episode 131 from January 24th, 2022. And it just so happens he's also my son. It's Cam the Jellyman. How you doing tonight, bud?
Hey, Dad. I'm doing pretty well. Sorry about the reflections in my glasses. I just got new ones. It's distracting me a little bit.
Where'd you get those?
This week. Okay. Ordered them 2 weeks ago, but
they look good. Okay.
I'm still getting used to them.
I noticed they look different. I don't remember you wearing those.
They are distracting me a lot with seeing the reflection.
Oh, I got a little glare in mine too. I don't care. It's fine.
It's that blue light protection.
That's what I got too. Yeah, I mean we're recording video for our Patreon community tonight as well. The last time you were on episode 131, about a year and a half ago, 2.5 years ago now. Jeez, time flies. The last time I talked to you on the podcast, you were going to college up in Minnesota. You were dating a girl. So tell me, how have things changed since you've last talked with me on the podcast? Let's catch everybody up.
Yeah. So, I mean, like what happens after college, stuff tends to move pretty quick in terms of like life events and everything. So, that girl that I was dating, I married, just about a year ago in April.
Oh, so your anniversary's coming up in a month. Okay.
Yeah. Anniversary's coming up. Right now she's, we're about 100 days out from having our first kid. Definitely cool. A little bit stressful. We own the house that we were living in. When we first moved down, we weren't, it's kind of like a rental situation, but we ended up purchasing the house. She has a stable job. I have a pretty stable job with a lot of upward mobility, working from home and everything. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, things are going pretty smoothly, pretty well.
Speaking of your job, can you explain what your job entails? Because I know you tried to explain it to me, and maybe the listeners will understand better than I did. But what exactly is your job, and what do you do? So
I do a lot of stuff that's kind of, I guess, like above my pay grade, above my role. It's kind of always been the case. Had a really hard time saying no to like when people would ask me to help them with things. So technically, started off as an account manager for the company that I work with. Essentially, we connect real estate investors with private lenders. The website's privatelenders.com. Originally started off as an account manager. So I would work with the private lenders, talk to their point of contacts, work on like modifying their lead delivery, bringing more of them on. Pretty much the whole thing is with real estate investor leads and connecting them with private money lenders. And so that's how things started out. Then I transitioned roles. We had kind of a reorg and everything. The company itself got acquired. Then I was a functional analyst for a bit. And now the role is integrations engineer. But in terms of like what I do, I pretty much manage the back end for the lead distribution, handle the CRMs and CRM management for Salesforce and stuff like that. A lot of analytics, a lot of like crunching numbers, a lot of like messing with data and stuff like that, Excel spreadsheets, all that kind of stuff, APIs, stuff along those lines.
So would you say programming's included in that, or?
It's pretty limited when you're just working with APIs. Okay. Same thing with with Salesforce as a CRM. There can be some code, but for the most part, and there's not going to be like too much stuff. It's not going to get too complicated. So yeah, pretty limited. Like maybe like writing out macros in Visual Basic for Excel is like maybe the most code that it gets to, and that's something that I just do to save time.
Yeah, I understood about 75% of that. So yeah. How's it feel to be married? What's married life? What are you learning about being married? What's married life like?
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much the same thing. We were dating for 5 years when we got married. I mean, she's my best friend, like my partner. We do everything together. She's been, going through a lot with the pregnancy and everything. So I'm making sure that I'm kind of filling in for a lot of the kind of responsibilities and stuff that she has while she gets some rest and, grows another human being. So, I don't know, it's pretty much the same, but with the time in the relationship, with just like as years go by, there's definitely like a lot of maturation going on, a lot of kind of like excising bad habits and some issues and stuff, and then figuring out like where I kind of settle in and how I do my best work. How can I be like the best partner? How can I, eventually be the best dad? Make sure that I have the bandwidth for that kind of stuff. Cause I pour a lot into work, and then, like kind of finding some outlets, whether it's through like working out or like some kind of creative outlet or something like that. Mm-hmm. Figuring out that kind of stuff has, like emotional outlets. Like there's a lot of, kind of maturation, kind of learning myself and how I work and, what works best for me. That's come along over the past few years.
So in a nutshell, just growing up quick.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Same track for like the past, like 6-7 years. Just, I don't know, getting better at what I kind of, was already doing. And, yeah.
Yeah, it was, it really didn't hit me, and it probably won't hit you until you get a few more years under your belt. But, it really is about compromise, and some battles you're going to win, some battles she's going to win, or you got to let her win them. And one thing I've learned, doing things without asking goes a long way in a marriage. Like you were making dinner for her last night. I thought that was really cool. I was impressed. And, you were like going to the grocery store. In fact, my mom and I were grocery shopping. We bumped into you in 2 different places. I was impressed by that. Having that initiative and doing it without being asked or things like that. I thought that was good.
I was going to say that's kind of, one thing that I've kind of figured out over the past, year or so is like, especially since she's been pregnant and like fatherhood has been on the mind and everything, like being a man and, masculinity and not like, in a, like toxic masculinity or anything, but like being like, what does it mean to be a man and have to, I've been lucky to have like a lot of mentors, like career wise. And, one thing that, one of my mentors always told me was, pull the trigger. Like, you can scope stuff out for as long as you want, but if you never pull the trigger, nothing's ever going to happen.
True.
And, for a really long time, I'd kind of just like get stuck in my head, like mull things over, plan stuff out, plan, and then never execute. And, that's been a really, really big thing for me, especially in the past few months where, it's just, part of being a man is getting stuff done that needs to get done and, not putting it off, not, getting distracted, not, finding ways to distract yourself, and kind of zone out and everything. Yeah.
Are you going to go to, like Lamaze courses and stuff as she gets closer? As far as the delivery, are you going to do that? Are you going to go seek some free courses? Me and Mom did.
So yeah, we've talked about it earlier today, actually, cause she's, just about to go on spring break and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are a few courses that we're going to, go to.
Good. They're
like,
going to show
especially,
you a live birth too.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff, like, no, not really. The big thing is for me, I think is like learning how to sleep train, early on and just like,
it's good. I didn't think of that.
Try to get us like, as much rest as possible. I mean, I can handle the nights pretty well, mm-hmm. But like if I wake up in the middle of the night, which I usually do, it's a really hard time for me to kind of go back to sleep and kind of get to sleep in the first place. So learning how to sleep train, I think is going to be something that like, I think in particular we're going to focus on. And then of course there's like the, like breastfeeding courses and all that kind of stuff that like you just don't really know. And like you can figure it out, I guess, like, just going into it blind. But, I mean, people have been doing this for, as long as humans have been around. Like there's probably some tips and tricks and stuff to make that process a little bit easier.
Yep.
Go by a little bit smoother and, why not tap into that?
Are you going to go in the birthing room?
Yeah, for sure.
Best thing, when you were born, you came out really quick, by the way. It only took you 20 minutes to be born. It was amazing. Everyone was blown away how easy it was. I mean, not for Mom, of course, but yeah,
I don't think it gets easy for them.
No, it's probably, I'd be scared to death, to be honest. But the thing is I was holding her hand and giving her ice chips and stuff and just trying to get her through the labor parts of it. And I remember the nurse telling me that, keep talking to her because you're the only person she's listening to right now. So whatever the doctor tells to do, you need to repeat it because she's only focusing on your voice right now. So that's going to be very important when you're in the delivery room. Last time we talked, you had just broken your leg from your first public fight and you were healing up from that. What's been the prognosis or how are you healing up and have you pursued anything further in jiu-jitsu since?
Yeah. So I had I mean, there's a lot of stuff that went into that. So I started training MMA. I didn't really do anything athletic beforehand. I wasn't like lifting weights consistently or anything. I just finally found something that like was really passionate about and like really fell in love with just like right away. And so, got a little bit excited, got a little bit ahead of myself and, signed up for a fight. This was in, northern Minnesota. And then there was some naivety that kind of came with that too. So I had to switch weight classes. I had to go up a weight class short notice. I had to switch opponents short notice. The original person that I was scheduled against, who's a boxer.
He was much bigger.
Yeah. The original guy that I was scheduled against was a boxer. And, I felt pretty, okay with that. Especially being at 135. I thought that would be, pretty doable. I was pretty happy with that. Mm-hmm. But then he fell out, and then I just kind of took whatever the promoter gave me, which was a high school wrestler up a weight class who already had a fight or two under his belt. Mm-hmm. What wasn't in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have taken that. And like if I'm advising someone that's like new to MMA or something like that, there are probably like a few touch points that I would say to like, make sure that you hit, this just like recommendations, but like making sure you have, at least a year training, make sure you're lifting weights, like at least 3 to 6 months beforehand, make sure it's at your actual weight class. You're not taking short notice opponents, up a weight class. And then I think the most important thing, and I don't know, this is, something that I think is hard for a lot of people because there's a lot of people that, they take an amateur fight because they want to kind of figure out what they have and like what their skill set looks like. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're competing on the actual amateur scene, and this isn't how it works, but I think it's probably in the person's best interest to not go into an actual amateur fight unless they're planning on going pro and like, doing a little bit more than, just having a one-off fight. I think you can probably like go to, street beefs or like rough and rowdy. Like there's a lot of these kind of like exhibition matches where you could probably do the same thing, but you're fighting against, people of like a similar caliber than like someone who's like actually taking a fight, signing up for it. Yeah. I jumped into it, snapped my leg in half on a hip toss, tib, fib, spiral fracture. Got a rod through the leg, like 3 pins. It's going pretty well. Like, it's been like, I think like three years or so. I think we're just coming on the 3rd or 4th. Well, you know what? It might even be close to like 4 or 5 years at this point because, I remember, like COVID hitting right after I was like, just about to get done with PT. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it was 2019 in March and March 23rd, I think. So, I mean, I've had plenty of time to kind of get used to it. I was really young at the time, so I healed pretty well.
That's good.
Wasn't like super consistent with PT or anything, but I mean, like that's been something that I've had to incorporate and had to, get more consistent with. Otherwise, like I just have like a constant limiting factor to athleticism or to kind of, whatever I'm trying to do. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I get it.
It doesn't really like hold me back that much. And from like, doing what I want to do.
And you still hit the bag when we're at the gym. You work out much more than I do. I need more time to heal between workouts because I push myself pretty hard. I know you tell me to settle down, but I'm old school. I'm all about breaking the muscle fibers and getting it and then healing from there. You're more about the movement and the tendons and I get it, but I'm
range of motion, having that mind, muscle, body connection, making sure your form's good. Yeah. I think all of that kind of stuff is, pretty important, but I mean, it's just different modalities.
I was just trained a different way when I still go by the 90s training of building muscle and all that stuff, but it's all right. We've compromised a bit and, we do the stretches and stuff. A lot of stuff you learn from physical therapy that is really helping me because hips and legs and squats and all that stuff, hamstrings and stuff, that's what you got to really start looking at. squat strength. Your trunk strength is so important at when you start getting older. And I've been reading a lot of articles on what to do in your over 40s life. And it's pretty basic, but there's a lot of stuff you got to figure out.
For anybody that's listening, the biggest thing when it comes to like getting into training, or if you're in your 40s, 50s, you never really lifted weights or anything before, the biggest thing is going to be consistency and kind of focusing on the basics, because no matter what, if you're new to it, that first year, those first 2 years, you're going to be making a lot of gains, whether it's in mobility, whether it's in strength.
Yep.
So as long as you don't do something stupid and injure yourself, or, set yourself back, the biggest thing is just, trying to stick to it as best as you can, and just continually going and kind of, just sticking to the basics.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, your body adapts. Body's a great machine. It adapts very quickly once you start putting weight on it, and you start putting pressure and tension on your bones. Even your bones start getting thicker. It's just weightlifting is so good for everybody. It is so good for everybody. And you don't even have to go anywhere to do it. You can do it in your own house. It's really pretty simple. But, anyway, I know we can go down a rabbit hole there, but, I just was wanting to see how you were healing now. Are you still dealing with pain and stuff to this day from that break?
I mean, I can't really do extended sessions of jumping rope or something that's more, I don't know if impact wise, just repeated over and over and over and over again.
You've lost stamina there.
It'll just, I'll notice that it'll kind of tire out faster.
I gotcha.
Even then hitting the bag, over and over and over again, I can feel it, but, I don't know, that's another kind of trick. When you just do it consistently, you just kind of get used to it.
Okay.
Ask Red Ronin about.
Yeah.
Is it Red Lion?
Red Lion.
Yeah, Ronin.
Yeah, I asked that question for him because I know he wanted to see how you were doing lately. I'm sure he's curious. He has a few questions for me tonight as well. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What games you been playing? What have you been playing lately? What's on the rotation? I know every time I see you, you're playing all kinds of different games. You're like the antithesis of me. What games are you really into right now? And you play on PC, correct? Most of the time?
Yeah. So I play on PC and then my Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me pull up my library real quick. So overall, I mean, I have 494 games in Steam.
Yeah, I have a lot too.
I've probably played half of them.
Really? You've played 200 something games?
Yeah, for sure.
Name some games you've been playing, yeah.
Yeah. So Balatro is so that's kind of like a poker roguelike, pretty simple stuff, but it's just it's super well done. It's like a very refined, kind of honed in idea.
Mm-hmm.
Balatro, if there's anyone that's a poker player or anything like that, I would definitely recommend Balatro, especially if you don't have much experience with playing something like a roguelike or anything like that. I think it would, tickle your brain in a good way. Backpack battles. So that's pretty much you're picking, it's competitive Tetris with different effects on every single piece. And you have to kind of organize them and build a backpack and stuff like that. I
love playing Tetris.
What's
it called?
Backpack Battles. It just came out on early access.
Okay.
That's a very, very good game. I'm playing a game called Zero Sievert, Zero space Sievert. It's kind of like a 2D top down. What's the game called? Tarkov.
Okay.
Yeah,
Extraction.
A ton of different. Yeah, Extraction. So ton of different weapon modifications you can make. You have to be pretty strategic about how you approach stuff. If you die, you're going to lose everything you have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, only if you play on the normal difficulty. The starter difficulty is pretty forgiving in terms of learning the game. I don't know, that's been a fun one.
You hear that Risk of Rain 3 is coming out?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's Risk of Rain Returns, which was
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. So that was the remake of Risk of Rain 1, which I really liked. I liked that a little bit better than Risk of Rain 2.
Okay.
Another thing where it's just a roguelike roguelite has like a ton of different options. Every run's different. Just a really like tight, like solid, kind of like action game. A ton of different classes, different abilities and everything. It's probably like a few more. So Dark and Darker, which is like
you were playing that for a while.
An extraction.
You were trying to get me to play that game.
I think that's that. So a wipe is just about to happen. So they're about to go into a new season, new patch. Everyone loses all their gear. They start from scratch.
Wow.
And
maybe Bungie should take their. Well, we'd be livid if we lost all our gear that we've collected.
I mean, it's part of the game because like when you have all your stuff and you just like have it and you're just like.
Is it like reskins though, or is it all like brand new weapons? You think?
It's like the same type of weapons, but they have like different stats and everything on them. But like, so like you would, like think about like your gun with like perfect rolls or something like that. They have seasons where it's the same thing with Tarkov. And this is like why you get so many people that are just like really, really addicted to Tarkov. It's like the only thing that they do because there's so much replayability and there's such like a kind of steep learning curve, that, once the wipe hits, like it's like they're playing again, but they've carry over all the skills from the last season or last few seasons that they played.
Everything. You're just losing the weapons.
No, you're losing everything. You're starting from scratch, but it's like being able to play well, and all the little like mechanics and stuff. Skills. Actual skills.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that a looter shooter? That game?
It's not a shooter. It's like a looter, dungeon crawler, Tarkov extraction game.
Extraction. Okay. That's Dark and Darker.
Yeah. So like
you mentioned that'd be something I should play.
I mean, it'd be a change of pace for sure.
Yeah.
Other than that, there are like a few games like Calls of Torment, which is kind of like Vampire Survivors, like a pretty basic game, where you're just moving a character around, you pick different items and different builds, and you're not doing too much there. Yeah, I mean that's like the gist of what I've been playing lately.
What's on your wish list that's coming up? Anything coming out that you're looking forward to playing?
Let me check the wish list real quick. I'm excited about the Elden Ring expansion.
Yeah,
that's going to be.
Now, you and I played Elden Ring, and of course I fell off because Destiny was another season popped up.
I mean, we both kind of fell off, but yeah.
All right, so you're gonna. How far did you get in Elden Ring? I didn't get very far. I got a few bosses down, but did you go further than me?
I put in about 40 hours or so.
Yeah, I think I put about 16. Maybe 16.
I maybe got like 30, 40, 50% through the game.
We should go back and play it again. Be good to duel against a boss. Those boss fights were epic. They were a lot of fun.
It's just about a really well put together game. I haven't played it since it looks like 2022 or so. Yeah. So I would definitely be down to kind of get back into it again, especially with the expansion coming up.
So I can get what was it? So I can get, how did you rank up your abilities? I can't remember what it was. You had to collect certain things.
Oh, in Elden Ring? Yeah. You get like souls or something like that. It's like a currency for killing stuff.
I had to gather up a bunch of souls and just go and fight stuff and collect souls. And then I could start getting my skills up because I was always frustrating to me as going into a fight when you're not even close to the skill level of the boss you're fighting. I know it's challenging as hell, but it seems like sometimes when I would get a sword into one of the bosses, nothing, he'd just giggle. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Well, that's what I'm saying with like a lot of the games that I play. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're completely different, like kind of genres and stuff like that. But the big thing is like I'm because there's a lot of variety and I can't like really stick with one game, for a really long time.
See, that's where we differ.
I mean, there's just, it kind of like, makes you a better gamer, I guess. Cause like it's not for everybody. Like, some people have like one or two games that they always play.
I get that.
Whether it's, Destiny, for most listeners of this podcast or like, Call of Duty, Apex, stuff like that.
Sure.
It's Counter-Strike, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I was always curious. What was it about Destiny that you never see? Cause a lot of people will try Destiny and get frustrated and leave. And then some of them will grab on and it's all they want to play, like myself. What was it about Destiny that just didn't turn you on? Were you just into other games, or is it like the fact that you play a variety of games? Why did you never come back to Destiny and play Destiny? Because Lord, I tried, man. I know in 2014 when I played the first Destiny, you weren't that old. And, I know you sat there and watched me play it, but why not, why didn't you engage with it? I was just curious.
Yeah, maybe a little grindy. Like the mechanics itself are, they feel pretty good. Like the Crucible was pretty solid. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I would run into the same issues with like a lot of MMOs like RuneScape or World of Warcraft or New World, stuff like that. Like it would just kind of it's like iterations on
just get repetitive.
Like the same kind of cycle or like same kind of
I got you.
thing. So like dailies.
The daily stuff.
Like there are some like unique quest lines or storylines and stuff like that, but I don't know, like the repetitiveness of it, it just
see, that's the part I
didn't
like
really
about
like
it.
Tickle my brain, I guess.
That's the part I love about Destiny is because because it is repetitive. I have like my routines of what I want to do when I jump into the game. And for me, it's an escape for me. I mean, I can take my mind off work and stuff and go crank out bounties or go play, a few games of Crucible, or like right now it's the Guardian Games event. It's where the hunters are against the Titans, against the Warlocks. We're all fighting for who's the best. And there's a new skimmer that you can get where you can actually literally grind on air forever. It's the coolest thing. But just Google skimmer Destiny 2. You'll see a video of it. It's the coolest thing. And everyone's been going crazy trying to get that right now.
Yeah, it kind of just sounds like World of Warcraft, where like you'd have the dailies, you'd be able to get on, just like relax, take it easy. Like you don't necessarily have to be in like a raid mode all the time. Right. And you kind of like know what to expect. You know that you can like make consistent progress towards these different goals and everything. But yeah, I World of Warcraft kept me around for a long time. RuneScape kept me around for a long time. But that was more because there's like
you had a lot of friends you played with on World of Warcraft. That was
I had a few friends for World of Warcraft, but when it comes to like repetitiveness and friends, like I don't know, like League of Legends or something like that is the thing for me, because it's just like everyone knows how to play it.
Right.
Like
it's easy to jump in and just play it. You don't have to grind or get levels up or anything like that.
Yeah, man, it's good to play something with a friend or like with a group of friends.
Helldivers 2 is huge right now. Everyone's playing Helldivers 2 because they can just jump in a group, and there's friendly fire, so there's a lot of shenanigans going on, and and it's a live service game, and the developers actually have a dungeon master or something the equivalent of that actually changes real live events that happen in the game. It's pretty cool from what I've heard. But I see, I'm afraid to jump into that, because if I jump into that, I'm telling you, once I hook onto a game, it really has its hooks in me. It's hard for me to deviate and try other things. It's just always been the way it is.
I mean, variety is like the spice of life. So it can be on like, you can have like like a handful of games that you want to play at a time. Cause, you could log on and you can play like an hour of Destiny and be like, I want to go play some Helldivers now, or I want to play some Elden Ring, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I guess I just haven't crossed that bridge. I mean, every game I've ever played, when it was Call of Duty, I would play Call of Duty for a decade with the same friends every night, or the same rotation of friends every night. There was like 40, 50 guys that always played like I did, and you never had a problem finding a group every night to game with. So
yeah, and I don't know. There's definitely something that's very appealing about kind of having that consistent formula. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. If there was I don't know if I want to ask you this or not, but I'm going to ask you anyway. If there was a new player that was trying Destiny 2, would there any tips you would give them since you've tried it?
Watch the Guardian Downcast, learn all the secrets, learn all the. You got to watch your beginner videos on
my YouTube channel.
Is it Todd the Gator YouTube channel?
Right.
You gotta tap in if you're gonna play. You gotta immerse yourself, because that's at the end of the day that's what you're getting into Destiny 2 for. It's not a shallow experience. There's so much to get into and roll around in.
All right, I'll Venmo you later. Or I'll Cash App you later.
Nice.
We had some members of our Discord put questions in for me. This was since I was doing this episode pretty much solo. I mean, other than our talking right now. I said, you know what? This would be a good episode for people if they ever had any questions and they wanted to ask me a question. We usually have a guest on and they ask questions to the guests, but since there is no guest tonight and, Guardian Photographer stopped in and talked with me for a bit and now you are, do you mind reading out some of the questions that we got from the Discord tonight?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Do you have a list there in front of you?
Yeah, I got it all pulled up here and I moved it over to the center screen so I'm not looking to the side constantly.
Okay.
So what's the AGA and ATA difference? Is there
it's Ask Gator and ATA. I don't know what those
like Ask Todd,
Ask
like
Gator,
more
Ask Gator anything. I guess is AGA. Ask Gator anything.
And Ask Todd, so it's more like
Ask
you
anything.
Personally.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
So let me just go from the top here. So first two questions that we have are from Mr. Monkey. So Ask Gator anything. What thing creatively are you most proud of? And are there any podcast or YouTube ideas that you never started that you want to share?
Oof. By the way, I did not look at these questions beforehand. I just gave him the link to the channel and he looked them up. Most proud thing content wise was probably my very first I've always posted gameplay videos on my Todd the Gator YouTube account. And I have thousands of videos of just all through Destiny 1, early Battlefield, all my games that I played. I would just record the games and post them if my friends wanted to watch them, see what I'm up to. But ever since I think, I'd have to say, gosh, has it been 2 years now? There was a time when I was on Two Titans and a Hunter podcast and I think Night Demon was asking me a question like, well, you should probably, you love Destiny so much and you've redone your accounts and done the leveling up process so many times with alt accounts and stuff. He says, you should probably make some videos and help people out. And it just clicked. I was like, you know what? Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense because I love this game and I love the leveling up process and Destiny's tweaked it a little bit since then. I've done some videos out there, but my proudest accomplishment was my very first video when I totally revamped my channel and went to a new player experience and helping new players in Destiny. I got a comment from somebody who said, wow, thank you, YouTube, for recommending this channel to me because how refreshing is this video? And I was blown away. That one comment, I still hang on to that one comment from, I guess it was fall of 2022 is when I revamped my channel. And I think I was trying to get to 100 subs back then. I think it was at like 90 something. I was trying to get to 100 and thanks to the Discord, they followed and subbed. Even if they didn't watch my stuff, they subbed to me and got me to 100. I have a post-it note of mom putting, happy 300 subs. And I keep all those post-it notes in the cabinet in the kitchen. And I look up at it and it kind of gives me perspective, on where I've come. Mm-hmm. And now I'm at 3,700 plus subs. And I'll be honest, I haven't really posted a lot of videos lately. I put shorts from my podcast, the Guardian Downcast, in there. And every now and then I put some stuff from the Destiny Help Desk in there for shorts. But I really haven't done a lot of beginner videos lately because Bungie has this Into the Light coming up in April. And on advice of Mr. Monkey, because I talked to Mr. Monkey and I said, maybe I should start posting some more stuff to help people. I did the new player experience, the revamp one with the Guardian ranks. And, I know this is all Greek to you, but, I really enjoyed the experience other than the story made no sense for someone coming in. There was no context. And I wanted to do like a walkthrough video series about the new player experience. And I've seen some content creators out there in the Destiny community already do some of that as well. But I was so proud of that first video. I never had done video editing at all. And I heard that DaVinci Resolve was free. And then I realized how much power and potential that program has. So I just started going to YouTube. I just started learning how to use it. I mean, every step of the way, I would figure out how to insert video, how to trim video, how to delete portions of a video, how to fade in video, how to add effects, how to add text. I mean, there's so many things you have to know about video editing, and you can see why so many YouTubers out there burn out and quit. It is a lot of work making a video. Even if you have all the shortcuts, you have all the control shortcuts and stuff, and you know how to move you know how to put a video together really quickly. It is a lot of work to put a video together, but once you do and you release that baby and then everyone can see it and you get comments like I just mentioned, man, it really put gas in my tank. It really said, you know what? Maybe this is possible. Maybe I can actually do this. And I do plan on putting more new player videos out, but I'm waiting to see what Bungie's going to do with this Into the Light, because they hinted that it was going to be something that helps newer Guardians and established Guardians get ready for the final chapter, the final shape. So I'm kind of on a holding pattern right now with videos. And let's face it, Bungie's not in the greatest light right now. A lot of people are moving and playing other games, and a lot of the Destiny video content creators out there are feeling the pinch, that there's not as many people, watching Destiny videos right now. And I mean, even my shorts have taken a hit. People aren't watching the shorts like they used to. I have a short with almost 200,000 views, and then I'll have a short with 56 views. And it's humbling. It's very humbling. But that's my most proudest thing, was that very first beginner video that I put out. And man, I look back at it now and I was so green.
Yeah, so the creative thing that you were most kind of proud of is just getting started and taking that first step in the first place.
I probably did,
like diving into learning.
Yeah. I was very proud of myself, because Grandpa, my dad, said, you need to reinvent yourself. You're getting burnt out on what you're doing now. You need to get into some other things to keep life exciting. And that's what I did. And I still enjoy doing it today, but I'm just pacing myself, because I see so many YouTubers out there that just crank the videos out. They don't care about quality, or if they do, they just spend days and days. I mean, most of their days putting these videos together, and then it just clicked. I don't have to do that. I have a job already. And if I make YouTube my job, then it's not going to be fun anymore. So that's what I decided. It's more
of a passion.
It is.
And,
I have an idea. I'm out working outside in the Florida heat, and I have something comes to mind. I'm like, I don't think anybody's done anything like that. Let's jump into that. Let's start writing up some notes and start putting a script together and start figuring out how to put it together. And that's like I said, that's the most proud thing.
Yeah. And you see a lot of the people that like rely on YouTube for like their income or something like that.
Yeah,
they kind of have to kind of tap into that like content mill.
It's a tough life.
Kind of like
it's a tough way to make a living. If you add up all the hours you put into making a video, you could probably work at a fast food restaurant and make more money these days, because the amount of time and hours you put into making a video. Now, if it hits big, it pays off big. I mean, you can make thousands of dollars on one video if it really hits big, but that was never the reason I got into video creation. It was always to help the new player in Destiny. And as far as other podcasts that I was thinking about, I guess I can share a couple ideas here. I thought about doing a plant podcast, because I'm really into plants, house plants and gardening. And I mean, I work, that's my job. I work outside and make things look green and beautiful outside. And I thought about doing a podcast about that. I was making terrariums at one point. I thought about creating terrariums from the beginning, from an empty glass bowl to a full, beautiful terrarium. But that kind of faded out. I kind of lost interest in that. So I also thought about doing a pest management podcast for pest management operators out there that are trying to put a business together like I did, almost 30 years ago now. I thought about putting a podcast, about the pest control industry out there, but there's a few out there that do a good job of it right now. It's just time, Cam. It's just time. I just have to decide what to use my time for. And I just don't want to burn myself out. So
yeah, I think that's pretty wise.
If you've been following my YouTube channel out there, thank you for still following and subbing. I've put some shorts out there for the podcast to help drive traffic to the podcast, because I don't really do any advertising for Guardian Downcast or Destiny Help Desk. It's all word of mouth. And, people join our Discord every day. And I like to think that some of that's from our shorts that we put out. So yeah, for now, that's what I'm doing, but I do have plans to put other videos out there. And I have a really fun one I'm going to release for the Patreons here very soon, and the YouTube members, the people who are members of my YouTube channel. They both get the same content, the same video content now. I'm planning on doing something like that very soon. I've already recorded all the video for it. I just have to put a script together and a few graphics that I haven't learned how to do yet. Importing graphics into DaVinci Resolve. That's going to be tough. I gotta learn how to do all that stuff. So,
and there's never a better time to learn than when you have to. So
it's true.
And like when you have a vision for it.
It's true.
So here, let's go ahead and go to the next question from Mr. Monkey. Mm-hmm. So this one is an Ask Todd Anything. So you've spoken about your numerous hobbies, paintball, bowling, and cars. But Mr. Monkey is very interested to hear more about Todd and his petrol head years.
My first car was I think I've shared this story before, but my first car was a rusted out gray primered, no, it didn't even have a paint job, Chevy. And my dad's employee owned it, and he was a total alcoholic. When he gave me the car, it didn't even have a transmission in it. And I just started getting curious on how all this stuff worked. And back then I would go work with Dad, Grandpa, and make a few shekels. And then I would go get a new transmission for it. Step 2, I would get new tires for it. You know, I would just continually add stuff to the car and make it look better and better. And then I wouldn't be embarrassed when I drove to high school. I mean, I would drive us to high school. You have these rich kids who have brand new Mustangs and Camaros and Firebirds and stuff pulling in there. And I was always so jealous of those guys because their parents just gave them these cars. And my dad was never that, Grandpa. He's like, you want something? You go earn it. Nothing's going to get given to you. You got to go earn it or make it look better. And that's always been the mindset. And I'm really glad he did that because I've stepped up my vehicles over the years. And now when I have a fairly new Toyota Tundra now. And, I really appreciate that truck for what it is. I know everything about it. I know all the specs on it and stuff, but I got into actual racing and stuff very late in life. I was doing pest control for a dealership, and I told the guy I like Corvettes. I like the old C3s, the Stingrays. And he goes, well, I got a 78 Stingray I've had in storage for years. I said, you want to look at it? I looked at it, and I dated your mom in an 81 that I bought when I shouldn't have. I was too young and my insurance was crazy high on it. And, I was totally extended myself, but I wanted to relive that moment when I dated your mom. And, I went ahead and got it. And holy moly, was that a rabbit hole. $40,000 later, I had totally rebuilt the car except for a few things here and there. And, I had a buddy who had a hydraulic lift, and I would bring it over there and he would lift it up on the, up where we could get under it and look underneath the car. And we would just start finding things that were wrong with it. And if I could tell anyone any advice for when you get into an old car, never take it apart because you'll find stuff that's wrong with it. And then all of a sudden now you're thinking, okay, well, I might as well do the ball joints because it's on the lift and I'm redoing the brakes on it anyway and the bearings and stuff. So I might as well just put all new ball joints in it. And then ball joints goes to new shocks. And then you go into, it just goes on and on. And, I had the rear end rebuilt on that thing. I mean, I did so many things to that car. And then it's been sitting for 5 years in the garage, and it kills me every day I pass it. But one day I'm going to get it cranking back up again. But I knew I actually was trying to find a machine shop that would help me, would rebuild my engine, because machine shops are hard to find now. Not many people do machine shops, do machining of blocks. Most people just go buy the block and have it delivered to their house already rebuilt. Kind of like PCs now, PCs, pre-built PCs. And, I ran across this younger Puerto Rican guy, and, it was mostly, rice rockets. It was, the lowered Honda Civics and the the imports that had huge turbos on them and stuff. And I was always fascinated to see him working on those. But I'd walk in there and I'm like, man, this guy doesn't even work on V8s. And, but his grandpa had taught him how to rebuild a Chevy V8. And, he says, I'm going to teach you how to do it. And here I am. I don't know. I'm in my late 30s. And, he says, you're going to rebuild this engine with me. And man, the generosity of that guy, because I would come in every week and we would sit down and we would grind journals because we were making it a 383. So we had to grind the journals. We had to make it where the bore and stroke would clear the piston rings and stuff. We had to do all that stuff. So I learned that way and I was a late bloomer to it. I would usually, fiddle with stuff, but I was a young student. I didn't have any money to put into cars. And now that I had this 78 Corvette, I had time to actually put some money in the car and actually the fact that this guy, I don't remember his name. It's pitiful. I don't know his name. But I'll never forget this kid. I say kid, he was probably 10 years younger than me. He was in his 20s and I was in my 30s. But
it's been like a decade or two. So
yeah, he was, just the most generous guy. And here I am. I'm this old fart. I mean, relatively speaking, I was this middle-aged married guy with kids. Would I have kids? Yeah, I had kids. Yeah. I think I had kids then. And, I'm surrounded by all of these 20 somethings with their street racing machines. And I was like, man, I felt so out of place in this shop. But the generosity of this guy to sit there and teach me how to rebuild a 350 Chevy block into a 383 stroker with all forged internals and a blueprinted crankshaft and everything just to a T perfect. And, I'll never forget the day when we finally finished it and I brought it home and I actually bought it like one of those cheap, from Harbor Freight, one of those cheap engine holders, and it was on chains and stuff sitting there hanging in the garage. You were there helping me work on it at some point, but I'll never forget that day. I was so excited when that happened. But, I could talk forever about that stuff, but those are some of the early days stories of my petrol years, Mr. Monkey.
Did you have a race or anything that, it's like your favorite memory? From those days?
It's funny. I bought an 88 Corvette. It had 100,000 plus miles on it. In fact, when I drove it home, it was overheating at every stoplight. I mean, it needed a new radiator and it needed stuff already. And this was the 88s. I mean, they had digital dashes in them and everything was digital. Biggest pain.
That was the blue one, right?
Yeah. Biggest pain in the ass to ever work on. I have a buddy who has an 88 or 87 and I do not recommend buying those vets because we had to remove the exhaust to get the starter out of the car. That's how ass backwards this car was put together. I mean, from the factory. But I actually raced this thing. It had just a stock, I don't know, stock 350 LT1 block in it, I think was what it was in it. And it was slow as hell. It ran like 15-second quarter miles, but I went to brackets one night. Bracket racing, and you could bring anything to bracket racing. You could bring your mom's station wagon if you want, as long as you're consistent with your reaction time off the line, and you were consistent about when you got down to the end of the lane, and you could dial in a time that was a little bit, just a tad over or really close to it was just a game of knowing what your car could run. And I remember one night I got down to the semifinals. And then I was up against these guys who had been doing it for years, and they would do what you call pedaling at the end. They'd put in a very fast number to get a little bit of an advantage, or they would basically sandbag their time. And then what they would do is they'd let off, because if you go too fast, you're out, you're disqualified. So they would do what's called pedaling, is they would let off the gas at the very last second. They just had it timed perfectly, and I didn't know what I was up against. I actually had a Buell, a Rotax Buell that I actually put on the strip. Scared the hell out of me because, thing about a drag strip is, you cannot race on the center line because that's where all the oil from the cars bumps out. So you have to find a tire track on the track and stay in it. And if you get out of that track, you're going to know about it. it's going to get squirrely. So I did that one time too, just to see what the hell I could do on a motorcycle. And that was a very good memory as well. I was wearing jeans, dude. I didn't even have leathers on. I don't know. I'm surprised I'm alive.
I mean, there were a few of those races. There were a few races where it got a little bit sketchy there.
Yeah. And I had an S10 that I was trying to build. Damn thing never ran right. Never got a clean run out of it. Had a trans brake. I mean, it was really built for racing and never got the engine right. I bought the engine secondhand. It was a 383 again, but it was a solid lift cam. And my buddy got drunk one night and he adjusted the valves too hard and frickin' just rounded the camshaft. And that was that. I was over. I was done with it. So that's what got our house repiped, as I traded in an S10 Racer to my brother.
So, Mr. Monkey started off that question by saying, you've talked about your numerous hobbies. Try to list some of them off, because there's aquariums, there's softball. You were into motorcycles for a bit there.
I've done a little bit of everything. I really did. I mean, I guess you could call that my early midlife crisis. I bought cruising motorcycles. I had a Hayabusa back in 06, I think. 06, I had a Hayabusa. Beautiful black Hayabusa. Best bike I ever had. I remember going about 100 and something miles an hour on the highway one night just to see what it would do. Yeah, I'm lucky I'm alive. I really am. And when you guys were born, I had to give up all that because I couldn't be stupid anymore. Because that was well after we were born. Because I had a mental breakdown about that. Yes, I was like, Dad, you're gonna die. You're gonna die on these motorcycles. That's right. Yeah, history's foggy. But yeah, I've done everything. We did paintball. We did woods paintball. I actually had a ghillie suit I wore. I would use a flat spin barrel. It was a carbine, but it shot like a sniper rifle because I could shoot at 300 yards and you can watch the paintball move across I remember seeing it had that flat spin on it. You could see the paintball move perfectly across 300 yards and hit someone. It was the coolest thing to see. I've done, I still do bowling to this day. I had a softball league, a company league. I brought in all my friends to play and we won several seasons doing that. Lots of good memories there. I remember, I twisted my ankle so bad one night. I was out of work, in fact, for 18 weeks. I was supposed to be out of work, but, I iced the hell out of it through the pain and I got it to heal faster than the doctor wanted me to. And I didn't rehab it like he told me. I didn't use the bands and stuff. I was like, screw this. Let's go to work. And I had guys working for me. So I didn't miss out on the income, but I couldn't get out there with my customers and stuff. So
yeah, I remember you having the ice bucket in the living room.
It was so painful. It was so painful to do that. Yeah. But it's so painful. But that cryo freeze, I'm telling you, it healed me so quickly. The doc couldn't believe I was healed. He said 18 weeks because it was a really bad sprain, really bad, almost a break. So yeah.
Nice.
I mean, what else? Aquariums. I used to collect so many aquariums. I had aquariums when I went to University of Florida. I had a bunk bed made that actually held 10-gallon aquariums in them. My roommate thought I was the roommate from hell. Nothing but in the middle of the night when he's trying to sleep and, aquarium lights on and stuff. The poor guy, man. I felt so bad for that guy. And this is a collegiate living organization. It wasn't even a dorm. It was a student.
Collegiate?
It was a student run facility. And where everyone had a roommate, and that poor guy, I think he ended up moving in with his buddy in one of his dorms on campus. But I had aquariums when I was married, and it's probably the reason why your mother says there's no place in our house to put an aquarium now, and I think that's by design from her because I want an aquarium.
I mean, one of them exploded or something. I remember that.
I had like a 75-gallon hexagon aquarium. Think of a stop sign in the shape of an aquarium.
Yep.
Very tall, about 4 feet tall. I had a saltwater setup in there, and in the middle of the night, I heard like something pissing. I was like, "Is a dog peeing in our room?" And I went into the living room, and there it was, just slowly a nice little bead of water coming out of the caulk that was holding it together, and that was that.
Yeah, lots of points of failure on that one.
Aquariums just don't hold together in time. Hey, Guardians, would you like to give back to our community? If you received any value from today's podcast episode and would like to give back, head over to our website, guardiandowncast.com, and select the Patreon button to see what extra perks and benefits you can get from the several tiers of membership available. If you would like to give a one-time donation, click on our PayPal button and follow the prompts. Our community runs on our membership, and we never accept outside sponsors or advertisers. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny.
So we have a question from Heyoka here. It's an Ask Gator Anything. Okay. Might be a repeated question from something that got asked or maybe even lost in the sauce before. But Heyoka asks, where would the first GDC convention be? What would we be eating? And what would your contribution to the talent show be?
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought about this when you asked it the first time, Heyoka. And I'm sure we could go to downtown Orlando, down at the Strip where they hold GCX and stuff. And there's plenty of restaurants and stuff down there. But I think what I'd want to do, I'd want to make it a beach trip. We'd probably go on the East Coast. Daytona Beach, or maybe some other little hidden cities in there that maybe aren't as well known. We would all just rent a few hotel rooms or condos maybe. Reserve some condos together and then go sit out in the pool and bullshit. And I mean, that's the best thing, man, is at the beach. You got a nice breeze all the time. Go out and surf in the waves, and it'll probably be warm by then. And
what were you guys eating?
Dude, there's some, I know, really great seafood restaurants up and down the coast, especially in the central eastern coast of Florida where I go a lot. There's a ton of good seafood restaurants there where you can get fresh grouper. You can get fresh snapper. I mean, just the best tasting fish. I mean, I met with Fluffy Fingers MD a couple years ago now. And we went to a real popular restaurant there called Aunt Catfish. But yeah, that's what we would do. Yeah, we would hit the seafood restaurants. I'm sure there's a bowling alley nearby. We could go bowling. There's a movie theaters nearby. We could go see some movies and stuff. Dude, it'd be a great weekend. All right. So when you guys are in your Airbnbs near the beach and everything, it sounds like there might be a talent show brewing, at least according to Heyoka. What would your contribution for that talent show be? I can sing in tune, but my singing voice is dreadful. So I would say karaoke. I think I'd play along with karaoke if I had enough drinks in me. Sure. I could sing in tune.
Just do My Humps or something like that. Or some classic Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas? No, it'd probably be something country.
You used to kill that stuff.
I know, but it'd probably be something country because I'd have to match my tenor voice. And it'd have to be something I can sing. Maybe I don't know. Be something in a tenor, probably a tenor range where I could sing it.
Yeah. I got some. I'd be doing some karaoke to like Cake or something.
Yeah.
With that. That little monotone. Okay. So.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that now.
All right, let's keep going the distance here. So
there you go.
We got a question from Song Sword Hero.
Okay.
Gatorman. So my daughter just turned 13. Any advice on how to let her even start to think about boys and dating? Also, how do I make her like Destiny and not Roblox or Fortnite?
Well, you can answer. How does he? I'll let you answer that one. How do you get her to like Destiny? I tried with you.
Yeah, so when it comes to, getting them to play a game with you, I think the big appeal there maybe isn't even necessarily the game. It's going to be spending that time, with her mom or dad.
That's true.
So I think, asking if they want to play some games, maybe, have a system set up, whether it's a computer or, whatever console you're on. And have Destiny and just say like, hey, you see me play this game all the time. You want to play with me and do some
That's what Fluffy
Quest
does.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
he has in his office. He has consoles, and he got her gaming chairs. His 2 girls gaming chairs and stuff, and they sit there and have a game night. They'll play Fallout or whatever.
Yeah, you enable them with the you have the hardware there. You have the little setup there.
Yep.
Make it like a little family game night. That's the only time I'd really play Destiny is when.
That's true.
Yeah, like we're playing.
Rock Band was the best.
Well, yeah, Rock Band was definitely the best, but for Destiny in particular, it's going to be, just having the setup there, making it like a little bit of a family game night. Seeing if they like it. If they don't like it, don't force it. Maybe just play something else because it's not always about Destiny. But when it comes to like Roblox and Fortnite, I mean, Zoomers are gonna they're gonna be Zoomers. So just let them do their thing, and and if you can pull them over to the Destiny world for a little bit to play some games with their mom or dad. I mean that's that's a win or a W, as the Zoomers would say.
Yeah, exactly. As far as dating, at age 13, she's probably not going to listen to dad anymore anyway. I'm trying to remember what my daughter was like at 13 years old. I would say this, Song Sword Hero. Your daughter is probably going to listen to your wife more than she's going to listen to you. So what I would do is channel your energies through your wife and have your wife suggest, or let her be I don't want to say bad cop, but let her be the one who sets the tone for dating. 13's still too young to date. So at least in my book. I think at that point, it's going to be stuff like limited contact for like movies or like, going out to places together where like you're driving both of them or something like that. Right. And at 13, she's going to be staring at her phone in bed all day when she's home, and you're going to have to coax her out to eat dinner with everyone. And she's probably going to think that you don't know anything anyway, because she talks to people on the social medias, and the girls share all that stuff.
I would, definitely agree with looping in the mother there and cautioning them about some stuff. Don't send like
just be firm.
Like pictures. Don't
it's forever.
Don't like get on video calls and stuff like that.
Right. You'll have
stuff like that.
You'll be tempted to just let it slide. Don't let it slide. You got to keep your foot down on that, because at 13, they're not thinking straight. Song Sword Hero, they're not, man. And they're getting all these hormones and stuff, and they're starting to have these inklings and feelings and stuff. And even though they act like they know what they're talking about, they don't know what they're talking about. They're clueless. They're learning like everyone else out there and at 13, a girl at 13 years old has self-image issues. Almost all of them do. And they're very, very sensitive to anything people say about how they look. I'm generalizing, obviously, because there's some girls who don't, but at that age, even with you, Cam, at that age, you're very impressionable. And all I can say is, you gotta be the stronger parent. You can't be the one to lay down and go, all right, fine. Even though there were times when I did, but your mother was right there to enforce. She was the enforcer.
Yeah. Maybe at like 16 or something, but like at 13, it was going to like Universal Studios or like, wherever you are, like some local theme parks or attractions or something like that.
Somewhere where you can hang out with them and keep an eye on them, or just touch base with them. Yeah.
Like, it's going to be hard to, I don't know, like go and do something else there.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we beat that topic to death.
Yeah. Moving on to the next question.
Good luck, Song Sword Hero. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Tough years.
So this is from, Zombie Pops. So he said AMC. How's the movie review podcast coming? Will you be doing just new titles or some classics as well?
Yeah, see, I thought about I know Native Raider said I should probably do a podcast about movies, but here's the thing. I just want to give you my quick opinion. I mean, here's what I liked about it. You should watch it, or you shouldn't watch it. Don't waste your time. I don't know if I could do an entire podcast about one movie or even 2 or 3 movies, because I'm pretty opinionated when it comes to movies, but as my son will attest, his mother and I see so many movies every week, or well, we try to at least. We can see 3. Yep. We can see 3 every week, free of charge. AMC Stubbs A-List. Check it out. For like $20 a month. I mean, my God. I mean, yeah, I know. That's $40 a month for 2 people, but you're seeing 3 movies a week. That's like, what is that? 12 movies a month? Over 12 movies a month? It resets every Friday. Anyway.
I didn't even know that there were 12 movies
well,
out
that's
each
the
month.
thing. Sometimes there isn't, but you have the option. And say you watch, like I watched Dune 2. I'm going to go back and watch Dune 2 again in the theater just to watch it again before I have to wait 3 or 4 months before it comes to HBO. But, yeah.
Instead of doing a movie review podcast, would you maybe do like a video or 2? Maybe about like your top 5 movies?
I would, yeah, I mean, I love movies and you know, I think I like the way I do it now. If I have a movie review, I have a tiny little blurb in the middle of the show on what I've been doing this week. I like where it sits right now in the show. It's quick to the point. I have a little audio graphic you can hear that tells you it's a movie review coming up. And I don't really get into, I'm not like these critics who go, well, the plot was like this. And, you know, and then the structure of the characters going into the third act of the movie. Dude, I love watching movies, and I really don't want to get into the nitty gritty of a movie. I just want to tell people, hey, it's a really good movie. And like I mentioned in my past, movie reviews, I review my movies when I'm walking out of the theater, because it's fresh in your mind what you just watched. And I usually talk to my wife about it, and we talk it over going back to the parking lot in the truck. And then I pretty much have my opinion on what I think the movie is. There's been some real stinkers, man, where I'm like, wow, that was a waste of time. That was a waste of space, them even making that movie. But then there's times coming out and I'd be like, wow, that was fantastic. So I'll just keep it short and sweet for now.
Vibes-based movie reviews.
Yeah, and I'll have I'll have probably my top 10s at the end of the year. That, you know, top 10 movies you should see in the past year, like I did with Native Raider this year. So if you haven't seen that episode with Native Raider, it's called Top 10. Yep. All you have to do is go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, and in the search bar, just type in Top 10 because it's in the title, and it'll pop right up. You can listen to it. All right, what else we got, Cam?
So just to add on to that, for the YouTube channel, especially if you're recording video, I mean, you can cut like 10-minute clips of when these discussions are happening and upload them to your channel.
That's true.
Just so they're a little bit easier, and they're a little bit easier to consume than a 2 or 3 hour podcast.
I don't normally record video. Usually I only record videos on like special shows like tonight or like our roundtable episodes. I'll be recording video on those shows from now on. And I've gotten such good feedback on that. And by the way, our second roundtable episode is next week. And I have 3 brand new guests, different from the first roundtable. And they have 3 very good topics that we're going to talk about that night. So hopefully I don't get gigantic twabs like I did last time, and it'll be a reasonable length of time, in the podcast. So. All right.
Any other questions? So yeah, we got plenty of questions left.
Okay.
So we got one from Rolfie here, or Rolfe.
Rolfie, he's a UK member.
Nice. Okay, so from Rolfie. Question for the Gator Wrangler. I'm a fellow hiker, love spending time in the hills and mountains. What's the most memorable and or beautiful place you've ever hiked?
I love mountains.
You much of a hiker, Dad?
Me and your mom love to hike. I've been to several national parks around the United States. I've been to Glacier National Park in the Rockies. I've been to Smoky Mountain National Park 1,000,000 times. I've been up in Maine. I've been into the national park, the Arcadia National Park. I've been up there. Some great, the mountains aren't huge, but it's still part of I think it's part of the Appalachian chain still. Yeah. I've really gone on some great hikes there. My favorite hike was on my wife and I's 30th wedding anniversary. We went to Utah, and thanks to my buddy, Kingsley Mack, who lives in Utah, he recommended, the Zion National Park, which was so surreal. We drove through the national park. It was so crowded too. we had to park outside the park and take a bus in. It was so crowded that day. But my God, what a beautiful national park. The red rocks, the red cliff faces everywhere. And we did over several days, we did several hikes on several trails. And the most memorable one, though, was one that actually Kingsley Mack recommended, and that was Bryce Canyon National Park, which is before you get to Zion National Park. It's a little closer to Salt Lake City than it is Zion. Zion's a little further out. And we went on a hike that I'll never forget. I have so many great pictures of this hike. I even got video and everything. I actually grew out my beard. I was getting pretty scruffy here. Had a full goatee and stuff. I had my beanie caps on. It was in late November, right before it was still chilly, but they haven't quite gotten a ton of really bad weather yet. The timing was perfect. There had been snow falling in the canyon, so we were walking through snowy areas or icy areas, but it was a 9-hour hike. It was 4.5 hours in and another 4.5 hours out of the canyon. And and when you got to the very end of the canyon, of course, there's the money shot. There's the big giant cavern that's open that everyone gets pictures of when they're there. That was definitely a great payoff, and never forget that hike. That was my most favorite hike, and I posted pictures of it in the Discord. Now I'll put some, if you request it, I'll put some pictures in the show feedback channel if you ask for them. I'll put a few in there to show you what that hike was like. But yeah, I've been on a lot of mountain hikes, and because Florida's flat, there's no mountains. So when I do go to a state that has mountains, I'm always so happy to try out the trails.
The thing that I remember most from going to a mountain, I think it was in Glacier, where Grandpa somehow attracted a deer and was like feeding it from his hand.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Followed him around, and every day he'd show up, it would be there. I'm sure he got fed by a lot of tourists going through there, but yeah, Glacier National Park, we went on the red bus, right? The one with the open windows. The open glass top and stuff, you could see everything. It was such a beautiful trip. The big red bus. Great. That was a great trip, too.
Yeah, that was a really good trip.
We always took vacations with Grandma and Grandpa. We always tried to take big family vacations and include everyone that we could. Very memorable times.
So we have 3 questions from Warlocks Unite.
Oh, it's Nico.
All right.
Nico A.
All right, so first question from Nico. Question for Gator. If you could share one family tradition from any holiday, what would it be and why?
We have a family tradition where we always meet for Christmas Eve at either my parents' house or one of my siblings or my house. Every Christmas Eve without fail. Even during, I think COVID, we skipped one year, and that was COVID year. I think it was 2020. We did not, it was the first year ever we did not do Christmas Eve, and it was so sad. It took so much away from the holiday. It is so good to be around your loved ones, your family, your brothers and sisters, and your aunts and uncles, and of course your mom and dad. And we would play all kinds of games. We would do the gift exchange. We would do that. We'd have Secret Santa, where everyone would pick a number. Because we have such a large family, we would go broke every Christmas trying to buy presents for everybody. So we would pick numbers and have a Secret Santa. We made the amount pretty good. It's like $75 or something. It was a pretty good price. Yeah, that would be the one tradition I hope that everyone could do is meet with their loved ones, at least some of their loved ones, on Christmas Eve before Christmas.
Question 2. Warlocks Unite Nico has an inkling that a few people would enjoy this. So he's requesting that you say rewind rounds 5 times fast.
I can do this. Okay. Rewind rounds. Yeah, I can't do it. You know what's funny is I hear content creators on YouTube say rewind rounds, and it still messes in my ear. Yeah, I'm sorry I failed you, Nico. I can't do it, man.
Rewind rounds, rewind rounds, rewind rounds, rewind rounds, rewind rounds, rewind rounds.
Maybe I'm trying to do it too fast.
Well, I mean, I think that's the fastest I could do it without just going into.
I'd have to do it that pace.
Breaking it down syllabic style.
Yeah.
All right. So, Gator, question 3. He's gotten a little bit of flack for this, so he's going to share that spotlight. Who is your favorite mod? And you can't say all of them. One of them has to be named.
See, here's the thing. Every mod has its own personality, has their own personality. And I hand choose the mods in our Discord because I see what they do in the Discord. I see how they react to people. I see what their mannerisms are. I really can't. I mean, I'm serious. I really don't have a singular favorite mod. Sorry,
Dad.
Brittany.
You got to pick one. You got to pick one. Is it Brittany because they come to mind first? Like who's the one?
Because Brittany was always would get hurt if someone didn't say that she was their favorite mod. And
okay, how about this? Who do you think has the best social presence in terms of like interacting with new people? Making sure they're keeping up with.
They all do.
Okay.
All the mods are very active in our Discord.
Who do you think's giving you the best advice during times of strife?
Well, see,
and discontent.
There's some mods I'll actually talk with about personal issues, and there's some mods that it's too heavy to put on them. You know, I have mods in my Discord that I've known for a long time, and they share a lot of the pain that I do. But I'm like I said, every mod has its own value, has their own redeeming quality. I'll tell you this. My first mod was Mr. Warcry because I was one of his mods when the Adult Gaming Alliance was on back in the long ago days when he ran a gaming, not a Discord, but a gaming forum long ago with hundreds and hundreds of people. So I rely on his judgment and input because he's been through it before running a community. So, and I'm totally green to running communities. I'm learning like everyone else is these days. So I will just say that Warcry was my first mod because of that fact. But I really, honestly, I don't have a singular mod that I would say is better than the other. They all have their redeeming qualities that they offer.
All right. So if they all have their redeeming qualities, I mean, this is as much their community as it is yours.
It exactly is.
So let's shout them out. How many mods do you have right now? I see 7 online. And I mean, Me 6 doesn't count. So how many would you say you have? Like 10?
That's a bot.
Like 20?
Look, I have that many. Well, you have RNG Gator. You have Admiral Nips. You have Warcry. You have Jealous, Chubby Wizard, Mr. Monkey, Commando, Hades, Hammer Crasher 32, Brittany, Hayoka, Scarlet KM, Ronan Redline, who you've talked to, and Nico, aka Jersey, who was just appointed a mod just recently. It's funny he's asking that question. See, I'll give you an example. I brought on Nico, aka Jersey, to the Discord because he has great ideas, great community building ideas, and that's why I brought him on as a mod because he was throwing out ideas without wanting anything in return. He would DM me all the time and say, "Hey, you should do something like this," and I'm like, "Man, I would have never thought of that." And he's used to running a World of Warcraft community back in the day, so that's valuable to me. The fact
that's the leadership.
It is. And so there you go. You wanted me to kiss up the Unico? There you go. Let's move on. I don't like calling favorites.
We'll
I'll let it
so you shout them out. I mean, I think that's good enough.
Yep.
All right, John. This one's from John Boy 2824.
Mm-hmm.
Questions for Gator. What's up with that gamer tag? Hit you with your own question. LOL! Exclamation point. Also, a follow-up question, but we'll get to that after we deal with the gamer tag question. What's up with that gamer tag?
my original gamer tag, and I got to give credit to my wife. My initial gamer tag, I wanted something catchy because I am a Gator fan. I mean, even though they're pitiful right now in football. I went to school there. My dad went to school there. There's a history with University of Florida, and so yeah, a lot of my family has gone to University of Florida as well, including my sister who graduated there. So I needed a play on words that would say Gator. Obviously, if you just type in Gator, there's a million varieties of that because there's a lot of Gator fans out there and there's a lot of Gators. So I wanted something kind of a play on words. So my wife came up with Instigator, and this was back when I was in my 30s. Instigator. And I liked the name. And I remember in my Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 days, no one would ever call me Instigator. They would just call me Gator. G-A-T-R, Gator. Because Instigator was spelled INST-GATR. Not like the word, but like I said, a play on words.
Yeah,
and,
they know you're not starting any shit. They know you're not instigating anything.
I'm actually the very opposite.
Gator.
I'm the very opposite. I'm not the one to start shit. I'm the one usually. I'm the diplomat. I try to make everybody get along and do well. And so yeah, everyone kept calling me Gator. So I changed my gamer tag to Gator, just GATR with underscores. And then that I used that for the longest time. And then finally I had to come up with a YouTube channel. And if you try to search Gator, GATR, you get these weird videos from God knows where. So I said, all right, let's just call it Todd the Gator. That way it's easy to say Todd the Gator on when I'm introducing myself in a video or something. So that's the evolution of my Gator gamer tag.
All right, John Boy. I hope you're satisfied with that answer. We got a question from Ronan Red Lion, the Jiu-Jitsu black belt master.
That is.
And this is this from Mrs. Ronan Red Lion.
Okay.
If money and time were not an issue, what skill, hobby, or job would you like to learn or do?
Man. If money and time were not, we're not.
Let's say you're a retired millionaire. You won the lottery. You're living off the grid or on the grid, whatever you want to do.
I'd be
skill, hobby, or job.
I have friends that have gone into competitive target shooting. I think I would really love doing that. I'd love to practice and do competitive target practice shooting with just like a 9mm. With like a
9mm.
Yeah, 9mm. I can use a 22. I can use different kinds of guns. I think that'd be a lot of fun because my
don't
dad.
They do ski shooting with like shotguns?
No, that's okay. That's all right. I mean, I guess that's fun, but.
Do you mean having the pop-up targets and stuff?
Yeah, I mean competitive. It's big in Arizona and a lot of the southern states where there's a lot of desert, a lot of areas where you can have gun ranges without killing somebody. It's where you would step in, and we have people in our Discord who do professional target practice. And I have friends from my earlier days in Call of Duty that are professionals now. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, man. And there was a show called Top Shot that was out that I watched religiously every week. In fact, Guns of Paradise, shout out to Guns of Paradise, my buddy from Call of Duty days. We would talk. In Battlefield and early Destiny before he fell out. But, yeah, shout out to Guns of Paradise because we would talk about the latest Top Shot every week, about all the contestants and stuff. We'd follow it just like we would any other reality show. Other than that, I would probably really like to get into audio video editing a little deeper than just, vlogs, get into even some moving scenes and maybe get into multi-scene stuff and just start dabbling into the audio video part of it. Cause I'm very much a noob to all that stuff. I'm very limited on what I can do in audio and video. So maybe you get into that as well.
Yeah, maybe you'd have some more output on that YouTube channel if that was the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we have one of the last few questions here from NYC Romancer. Necromancer.
Necromancer? Okay.
NYC Romancer. So he either really loves New York City and he's risen it up all the time, or he's a necromancer from New York City. Who knows?
Okay.
What field is your business in? How many hours a week gaming is average for you?
What field of business am I in?
Yeah. Gaming's a full-time job for my dad.
No, I like to say that, but I balance my gaming and my job. I'm very, very lucky that my job allows me to set my own schedule. I can set my days up however way I want. And I'm very fortunate that I have that independence. Like I said, I used to work for people all my life. I started in retail forever, got into auto parts. I was a bagger. I was a stockman at a grocery store. I was a roller skating guard, if you can believe that. I guess a bouncer at one point. Not really a major one, but I booted people out of a club sometimes if I needed to. Then I was in between jobs from my auto parts job, and the manager would just sit on his phone and talk to his girlfriend all day. I was like, you know what? This is bullshit. We're flooded at the desk trying to get parts for everyone. And this jackass is sitting in the back room talking to his girlfriend and would never get off. He'd just sit there and yabber with his girlfriend. And one day I was like, you know what? I don't need to do this anymore. And I just went up to him and say, oh, by the way, excuse me, I know you're on the phone. I quit. And I walked out. I was over it. You know, I was in like management position almost, where it's like a team leader or something where I would load the trucks in at 4 a.m. I was like, you know, why am I doing this? And one advice I'll give you is never look at your past paychecks because it's depressing. It is depressing how much little money I made there. So then I was in between jobs and my uncle was looking for a pest control technician. And I said, what the hell? I never even thought about pest control. And I called my uncle up and, you know, he knew I was a good character. And he said, oh, yeah, I'll hire you. And 3 years later, I'd done my apprenticeship. I got my 3 years in and I decided, you know what? I just think I can do this better. And I could probably make a better living at it too. And so, yeah, I've been doing it for almost 30. Actually, May will be April. Next month will be 30 years in business. No, scratch that. 29 years in business. Yeah.
Either way, it's impressive. What would you say to the entrepreneur dreamers out there? What was the first step? Was it building the experience? Was it just having the conviction to make it work and just diving into it? What if people can't dive into it? They don't have the opportunity to do so, or they have children or something like that. What would you say to them? Would it be like start a little side hustle, thing?
Start small. You can make a good living just having a side hustle, and still work your 9 to 5, especially if you have passion to do it. It's feasible. It is. You can add to your income if you really are driven to do it. And, as far as my job, what I do, I mean, I never anticipated being a pest management company owner and technician. I never planned on that. So I guess be open to what falls in your lap sometimes, or what you bump into accidentally may be something you really love to do. Just keep an open mind. And, what's great about my business is, I have several passions in it. I have a mission where I feel like I'm taking care of a problem that can affect people's homes and their health in their homes and businesses. At the same time, I can be safe about where I apply products and pest management measures and still keep it safe from the environment. That's kind of my mission when I'm out there. And then at the same time, I do the beautification of lawns and ornamentals and stuff. I've always loved, my parents were in the nursery business, and I always loved plants. My mom loved plants. My grandmother loved plants. It's kind of a family thing. And I can do that in my business. I can take care and make stuff look good. And I have that passion. And if you're doing it right, if you're in the job that you really love to do, every day you'll be, holy crap, it's 5:00 already. It's almost like you have time blindness. The days just fly by. And before you know it, it's time to go home. And you're like, oh, okay. That's when you know you're doing it right. And I'm so blessed that I'm in a position. I'm so blessed that I'm in a position where my days do melt away.
What would you say you do better than other entrepreneurs in your field or other companies in your field, whether they're corporate or entrepreneurs, small business, whatsoever?
I'm a lot of the pest management industry has a lot of big companies, and people today in the service business, and it's not just Florida, it's everywhere. Personal service is something that people have forgotten about. All my customers have my number. They can text me anytime, day or night, if they have a question or a problem or anything. And I'm very quick to get back and talk with them because these people pay me, and these are, people. It's very risky to have one income source. Like if I was a YouTuber and YouTube closed down tomorrow, I am screwed. But I have 500 plus bosses. And if number 499 decides they don't want me to do their service anymore and they fire me, I have 499 other bosses that tell me they do want me to show up every week. And to me, that's less risky than having a singular source of income. So if there's some way you can get into a business where you can freelance or do anything like that and have multiple sources of income, there's nothing that makes you feel more secure than something like that. And God forbid, there can be a total collapse tomorrow and my business closes down, and it really comes down to the personal attention. The companies that spend the personal attention taking care of their clients are the ones that are going to have clients for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I have clients I've had for 29 years that have never fired me. Through thick and thin, through 9/11, through COVID, through all of the things that are thrown our way, still are my client today. And I really like to think that is because of I'm very personable with my service and when I talk to people, and that's just kind of the way my business flows. And if you can get into something you love and provide very personable service, whatever it is, if it's a trade or whatever you decide to get into out there, just being nice to people goes a long way because everyone's like you. They want to feel good. They don't want to be yelled at. They don't want negativity, even though anybody who plays me in Crucible has experienced that firsthand. I apologize. Yeah, that's really where I think I have a big advantage over a lot of my bigger competitors, my big giant conglomerate companies out there. And I've known this for years. And, the big companies can put a system in place that makes money, but they can't make an employee be personable. With the best training, it's very, very tough to make an employee personable. And that's why that's the motto and that's the culture of my company.
So I would say, as someone that worked with you, kind of growing up and watching that firsthand, I would definitely agree with that. I kind of, knew that would be your answer because that was, definitely like a value that was instilled in me at an early age was you care about the people that you work for in terms of like the actual clients. Like you can see corporate jobs, you can see these, in your field, which is a pest control, you see these like corporate pest control people come by and it's just like it's like like an assembly line essentially, or like some kind of automation where they just go through the steps and they're onto the next one, go through the steps onto the next one, go through the steps onto the next one for like corporate positions, like having a script, not being able to be dynamic, not be able to give the people the time that they deserve, that's going to make them, feel appreciated and, want to stick with you and stick by you through thick and thin, through, economic crises or times of uncertainty or something like that. Yeah. And that like human touch and that sense that you actually care about them and you're making that known, that goes a very long way when you're starting a business and when you kind of I don't know, when you're running your own business. That's the other thing too, is like the corporations, they have to take a lot off the top. And so that kind of just adds to the, what they charge, and they aren't getting the same service for the same price.
Right.
At the end of the day. And that's a huge differentiating factor when you're thinking about starting your own business. That's something that you should personally be focused on, is, what can I offer, and what can I do that goes kind of above and beyond, what these people that, just churn stuff out on an assembly line, or like go through the motions, etc.
There's a lot of that today. People crave that personal service. And if you offer it, they will hunger for it. I'm telling you, you can gain loyalty, very simply just by being respectful and promising. You make a promise, you don't break it. I learned all of this from your grandfather, from my dad. One day I was working with him in construction. I said, Dad, that guy gave me a drink and everything. He's really, really nice guy. We need to do a really good job for him. And I'll never forget this to this day. Your grandfather, or my dad, turns to me and says, son, you do a good job on all of them, regardless of if they're nice or not. And that just stuck with me. That's an ism that Grandpa passed to me, and hopefully I pass to you. You do a good job on everything. And it may not be seen initially, but down the road, you'll gain a reputation that you're really good at your job, and you really care, and you provide quality service or quality work. And yeah.
The difference is in the details.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
So we have one big question from Heyoka.
Okay.
All right. Let's jump into this. AGA, Ask Gator Anything. You're a very humble person who's created an incredible community. Many of us started our working weeks listening to your voice on the Guardian Downcast pod. I hear story after story from joining Guardians who finally plucked up courage to join the Discord and say hi, who have been drawn here, inspired by your content. And I also hear your surprise when people tell you this is in comms, when people tell you this in comms and express their awe of you when they get to play Destiny with you. I know this because I was one. I want to hear how you feel about what you have created through the community, and it's time to blow your own trumpet.
Heyoka. First of all, Heyoka is the most selfless person. And it shows very, very, very good emotional intelligence when people can be selfless. And I have my moments where I'm selfish. Someone will want a game with me or something, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not in the mood tonight. Sorry, I can't make it. But I got to give credit to my prior hosts that helped build this podcast. I mean, Easy joined us early on. Hazel was hung in there for years and years with me. And now I'm the last one carrying the torch for Guardian Downcast. Maybe there'll be a host down the road. I don't know, but my plans right now are to just, keep inviting people on to guest host and talk to people in the community and content creators and stuff going forward. I'm kind of embarrassed to kind of toot my own horn because it comes across as self-serving, and you can attest to this, Cam. That's not my style, man. I mean, yeah.
Heyoka did it for you by
yeah, I know.
So, I mean, some people would say that's that comment has a little bit of glazing in it.
Yeah.
I would say that's someone that is, going full circle back to Mr. Monkey's first question there, which was, what are the things that you're most creatively proud of? Those little comments when you're first getting started where someone's being genuine and truly thankful and appreciative of what you're bringing to the table. And like you put it, refilling your gas tank. I mean,
yeah.
that's what I would say there. So you don't necessarily need to blow your own trumpet or your own horn, but I mean, I think one thing that you can say is like everyone in the community has something to offer to the community. Mm-hmm. Even if they're quiet or something like that, even just being in the community itself and kind of fueling that growth and, you know, participating wherever they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, that adds quite a lot, to the community itself. And, I mean, you're the one that kind of, you know, kicked this off and had that, you know, initial kind of, passion and desire to create this. So I think, I mean, that's a huge part. You couldn't have done it without, you know, without help along the way from everyone in the community, from,
Yeah, is that the
you know,
truth?
Hazel and, you know, your past, co-hosts and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, for where it's at now, I mean, that's a community effort. And, I mean, you can see a lot of communities where they kind of just like fall apart at a certain point. But this has been,
I've been in those.
this has been, like a community that has been, you know, self-sustaining. And I think a lot of that comes, from people like Heyoka, being willing to, you know, write these kind of comments and show their appreciation and and kind of share their love and you know, the same kind of passion that brings them to you know, Destiny as a game and
Mm-hmm.
brings them to this community in the first place. It's the thing that kind of holds this community together.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, good wordsmithing, son. Yeah, I'll just say thank you for the compliment, Heyoka. I maybe it just hasn't kicked in. Everybody has their insecurities and has their doubts. I mean, there's always that negative voice in everyone's head saying, you know, yeah, you may have grown a community, but it's not that bad. You know, they're going to find out about you tomorrow and they'll be gone. You know, I always have that feeling that someone's going to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, we figured you out. So, it's kind of weird. I've been part of communities and stuff before. I've never led one. I've never been on the front lines. I've always been the lieutenants that always help out in past communities. Warcry can attest. I was one of his mods for the longest time, and that community fell apart. And that's always my fear, is that the Guardian Downcast community will fall apart at some point. And everything that begins must end eventually. It just depends on how long. And everyone has their own idea of how to run a community, and sometimes it doesn't jive with what I think, you know, should run how to run a community. And I'm learning like everyone else out there.
I would say just as a you know, person who's watching my dad, you know, interact with the community, like he puts a lot into it. You know, whether it's time, whether it's attention. And I mean, it kind of just goes back to, you know, how I was raised, how you were raised, kind of what's been the values that have been passed down the family.
Sure. Yep.
Like, you know, you're putting the, you know, attention and care into the community the same way that you would for like, you know, your clients and your customers and everything. And I think that's a reason why, if Heyoka wants you to blow your trumpet, I'd say, I mean, that's the thing to blow your trumpet over, is that, you know, you do invest time, you invest, energy, a lot of brain power, etc., into, you know, giving back and, you know, participating in this community the same way that, you know, the people who are, you know, most active in the community, it's a similar kind of thing. But I mean, you're at the top of it, and yeah, I think that's it's, you know, you're setting a really good example there.
I would like to think that people who joined our community long ago are now starting their own communities and stuff. So I got to kind of feel proud that those people came together, you know, to where they are today as well. So I'm kind of a proud papa in that respect, you know, to see how big the Owl Sector Alliance has gotten over the years. So, yeah, I'm uncomfortable taking compliments. You know, I just kind of brush them off, but thank you, Heyoka, for your kind words. I appreciate it. And everyone who sent a question in, thank you. I created this episode just as an idea in my head that, you know, a lot of podcasters just talk Destiny and stuff. And I wanted this one to be more more of a personal podcast episode where I'm talking to all of you that are listening. So I thank you for those of you who took the time to send me a question. Thank you for that. I didn't really honestly know if anybody would respond. I was a little worried. So thank you.
Like I said, that was the last question.
Okay.
I don't know what we'll do after this. Maybe we'll record a Patreon or member exclusive episode because I have a handful of questions here, and they're a little bit a little harder hitting. We get down to brass tacks in these questions. I'm not going to let my dad pussyfoot and be the nice guy all the time here.
Thanks for helping me out today, Kim. Thanks for helping me out, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate you jumping in, and I figure it's been a while since you've been on the show, and what better night to stop in and talk with me than tonight. So thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, happy to help, and even if I'm not participating in the community, I'm very thankful for the people in this community because I see how much kind of happiness and fulfillment that it gives you. So yeah, I
agree.
Happy to help out wherever I can.
Thanks, bud. I'd like to thank the Guardian photographer and my son, Cam the Jellyman, for talking with me tonight. I'll have their contact info in the show notes if you'd like to check them out. I'd like to thank all the patrons who continually give back to our wonderful community. And last but not least, thank you for listening every week. And hopefully you get to know a little bit more about me today. And I truly enjoy doing this every week and talking to you guys. Remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, your destiny. Be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The path to victory is long, but there's always hope. Fight!
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. You had that dun special that would appear, on before the show would come on. Player support report. Scarlett, what's going on at the player support report for this week?
Oh, it's just broken.
Thank you, sir. I'm a grinder, man.
Sounds good.
When you grow up in the middle of nowhere, man, you got to find something to keep you busy.
Oof.
Oh, hey, it's gone past 3 minutes. Oh,
He found out my secret. He found out my secret, damn it. Mr. Lazarus, the Lich. Laz. Let me do it again. I want to go Mr. Anderson. All right, here we go. How was your PvP-ness? I can't believe you made me say that. I was like, hey, Elon, I got $10 million. How many Teslas can you give me right now? See if I can do a Gandalf impression. Fly, you fools. No, that wasn't good. Hold on. Let me do it again.
It surprises me that they're going to have 2 pulse rifles in one dungeon.
Don't touch my pulse rifles, Scarlett. Shh. I was remembering that joke from a movie. Honey, have you been on my face? Dad's on my face. You should get on my face. She's talking about Facebook.
I do not think that means what you think it means,
Yeah,
Mom.
Mom. What are you saying, Mom? Dude, for me, it's always the fucking ice show. Mr. Fudd, play that intro music.